Test, 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 test. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Test, test. Salutations to the nations. What's good, Angel Knots? It's your boy, Young Sinai. So, tonight we are going to be taking a look at some videos that I've been, collecting over the weekend. I think they're pretty interesting. Hopefully, you all think so too. Let me go ahead and pull up the chat. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So, this video, also, I will say, this is the first night that I have put my cats in their cat cage while I've been doing a live stream. So, if you all hear noises in the background, forgive me, forgive them. They're really cute. You would like them. Their names are Pepper and Jalapeno. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. This first video is called Teens Play NES for the First Time. Super Mario Bros. Punch Out Donkey Kong. And this video is by React. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. Hold up. All right.
Have you guys ever seen one of those before?
Not this old.
Never.
No. I think I played Guitar Hero on here at my friend's.
Oh my
You
gosh.
absolutely did not.
It's cartridges, right? But
VHS goes in here?
No.
Oh, wait.
No. Where do you think the games go?
In this.
There's one important step you're missing.
Reset.
Another.
Hey, here we go.
Wow.
These are so cool.
Oh, no. I got to run this back. Because when I was testing, I saw a portion of this in the very beginning. And so you all cannot miss this girl's answer. Let me run it back.
It's a Nintendo!
This
Watch
is an
this.
NES.
Have you guys ever seen one of those before?
Not this old.
Never. I think I played Guitar Hero on here at my friend's.
You absolutely did not.
It's cartridges, right? But
VHS goes in here?
That's the one.
Oh, wait.
No. Where do you think the games go?
In this.
Oh my gosh.
There's one important step you're missing.
Reset.
Another.
Hey, here we go.
Wow.
These are so cool.
Yo, when you played the NES, putting the game in the console and then pushing it down, that was so satisfying that if you know, you know. If you know what I'm talking about, hit like.
You're gonna play a bunch of old school Nintendo games for the first time.
For me, I feel like it's gonna be easier because there's not that.
All right, so let's see what they playing. Mario Bros, Punch Out, Double Dragon 2, Mega Man 2, Donkey Kong. Let me move myself out of the way. Bubble Bobble, and Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, that's what that is.
How many buttons to click?
That's true. Can you guys explain the plot of Super Mario to me?
There's a plot.
Two brothers completing tasks together.
Rescue the
Essentially.
princess and defeat Bowser.
Nailed it! Mario and Luigi are on a quest to race through the Mushroom Kingdom to save Princess Toadstool from King Koopa, considered one of the greatest games of all time, and is still one.
Oh yeah, my shirt. Let me show y'all my shirt. I didn't create this, you feel me? I don't even know who did, but I just want y'all to see what this mug say. Black men smile. You know why I say that? Because black men smile, and they need to smile more.
One of the best-selling games.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing it.
Oh, it's the music.
Oh. Go back.
You needed that was your power-up.
Oh. Mario looks like
Come back here.
he had too many
Come for you.
shroomies.
Yeah, move.
Oh,
And you got small again. How do you even jump if you're small?
Why are they all coming after me?
Oh,
Leave me
you have another
alone.
one.
do you know what those things are called?
Mushrooms.
Goombas. There you
Oh,
go.
you're talking about
Eh, eh.
Don't run away. Now he's a man.
I'm fighting my brother in my head. Like, this guy's gonna make fun of me if I lose.
How do they not know these things about Mario? Is this real? Is this real? Like, everybody knows this stuff. Maybe not everybody has played the game, but most people know, even if you're not a gamer, that getting a mushroom makes Mario bigger. I mean, am I tripping? Am I that old? Is there really like a new concept?
The chocolate bars.
Wait, did you just call the bricks chocolate bars?
Yes. That's what they are.
I don't have anything to say to that.
You were so close to the end.
No!
No, I
She already lost one of her lives.
Wait.
That fast?
I might.
Girl, you're killing it.
Why am I'm shaking the control like it's a Wii U.
You did it.
Like, okay.
What is that? Wait, go back. You didn't
That's
even
a
get the
turtle.
peacock. Oh.
Boom.
It's crazy how you perfectly got the bottom of the flag. The perfect, like you landed and then grabbed the flag.
Oh.
Unscathed. Boom.
This is the first time I actually touched this game.
Wait.
Okay.
This is good.
I just hope I do better than her.
Yo, my son is 3 years old. He's a beast at this game. He's a beast at all Mario games.
So I can prove that one.
Oh.
Why are you so fast?
He's holding down the run button.
I didn't know there was a run button.
What do the plants do? Is that decoration?
Mario is like Contra, okay? Bear with me. Contra, never let go of the shoot button. Mario, never let go of the run button.
No!
I can't do the thing where he like busts down. Okay, that's great.
Where he busts down.
That was really clean.
Oh my lord.
Keith, how's it feel so far? Okay.
Ooh, get the peacock. Wait. I died. You guys told me to get the turtle.
No, don't get the turtles.
Mario looks like mustard and ketchup. I can
That's
see how this
hilarious.
would be addicting.
Boom, buddy.
I don't know why I'm jumping on.
Oh, doubled up. First time though, good job.
Have you seen the Mario movie? The graphics on that way better. I mean, wow, the graphics on the Mario movie.
2 for 2, kids. Good job.
The Mario movie isn't, graphics aren't better than his 8-bit graphics. You kidding me?
This is when I'm going to do way better.
Look how you landed at the bottom of the pole. If I wanted to, I could be the Super Mario Brother champion of the world.
It was more fun than I expected it to be.
I love it. It's an original classic.
It's not just an original and classic. This is one of the greatest games ever made and will always
He just saying that because it's politically correct.
be one of the greatest games
Boom.
ever made.
I agree.
Is it fun?
Yes.
Yes.
What makes it so fun?
The competitive part about
I
it.
don't know. I think
I was just about, he's like, I don't know what makes it fun. I just know I'm supposed to say that. Otherwise, my brother's going to beat me up.
God came down and was like, here's Super Mario.
I could play that with a couple of friends.
Yeah?
Just grind the whole place out.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. What would you think it's about?
What's that one game that the Wreck-It Ralph?
They finna get destroyed. And yo, to think, I don't know when this video came out initially, but to think, their view of Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. That's the Mike Tyson that they think of. They don't think of Iron Mike. They think of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm finna knock this guy out.
Ralph.
This came out in 1987, and you play as Little Mac battling a bunch of opponents outside of
That's
your
my
weight
main.
class.
That's my main.
How do you know who Little Mac is?
Super Smash Bros.
You are playing the first boxing level in Punch-Out against Glass Joe.
I know
Okay.
he's going to go that way.
Why do you look so much smaller than he does? Why am I not moving?
Some weird looking Mario.
Is he playing?
You haven't started yet. No, it's you.
Is that Mario?
Yeah.
Mario.
Wait, why isn't this guy good? I'm really.
He's
like,
the first level.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's got you down twice. A, B, really fast.
Oh! Joe, I was doing good blocking!
A, B, A, B. No, you weren't.
Dodge! Dodge!
Get up, get up, get up, get up, bitch, get up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
This
you're
girl's
looking
into
rough.
it.
He's taunting you?
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Come
Oh!
Sit down.
Lay down. Go to bed. Night night.
Now dodge. There you go. Punch it. Yes!
Yes.
They call me the goat of Punch Out.
No, they don't.
Hey yo.
Am I Mac?
You're back.
Hey yo. There's this restaurant here in St. Louis called Soul Taco, and in the men's bathroom they have Mike Tyson's Punch Out characters and stuff painted all over the wall. It's super dope. I'm gonna take a picture sometime and I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it on the community wall. It's super dope.
Okay, don't get too tired.
Come on.
No!
The women's restroom is completely plain, according to my wife.
Hit him. No, you're not dead. You're not dead.
Oh my lord. I go so delayed.
He got you.
TKO.
TKO.
He fainted me out.
Oh no! KO!
TKO.
Von Kaiser.
Age
Von Kaiser from Berlin, Germany.
You are so good at this.
You're just a little tad bit off, bro. You're a tad bit off. Work on it. Come back next time. Come back next year. Come back, bro.
You're legitimately impressed.
Oh my lord. First round? There's no way. I taught it. I taught it.
Punch.
Yeah.
Punch. Punch. He
Ah!
was flabbergasted for a second.
Dang, look at this.
He's
dude.
laying out.
He's out. He's on the ground.
Oh.
No.
Wow, you're getting
Yo,
beaten.
that girl's scaring me.
Dude, I don't know the controls.
Oh yeah, get off me.
He hasn't even been on you.
He's so bad. He's so bad. You're literally so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. Are you kidding?
Yes!
Come on, yeah, nice job, you. Nice job. You're doing great. You're doing great. You really are.
Oh my gosh. Like this, he hasn't been touched.
Do I need to look? I want to see if I can do without looking.
What? No, frick you, Joe.
This is so unfair. She got easier now. This is so unfair.
Just one more hit. Just dodge.
I literally dodged.
No, you-
Dodge. 3 times in 1 round. Is he out? Yes! Woo! I'm the god of this.
It's so crazy to think that Mario, his job as a plumber pays so bad that on the weekends he has a side job as a referee.
Goodbye. Just go to sleep.
You didn't win.
I didn't have enough time to properly learn the controls.
100% you didn't.
I told you, punch downwards is not pressing up. Just press A and B.
Oh my gosh.
Do we
this
love
girl was
it?
pressing the wrong
Yes.
buttons.
But
that was impressive.
I'm just a video game god.
I'm the god of backseat gaming.
It was fun.
And not the god of anything.
It's so frustrating.
I wouldn't download the game because if that's the first guy, I'm gonna spend years.
It's hilarious that he says I wouldn't download the game. like he's downloading this off the Steam store or he's downloading this off the eShop. Unless he's talking about ROMs, bro, you're not about to be able to download an NES game, okay?
Just trying to beat Glass Joe.
Double Dragon 2 The Revenge. You're gonna play Billy and Jimmy Lee seeking revenge against the Black Warriors gang after they murdered your girl.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My baby G. Who am I? You're red. What do you mean red? There's no red on screen. You're in the red outfit. I'm in the blue outfit.
Am I headbutting him?
Why am I getting killed by like Richie from like Riverdale?
Okay, so let's kick.
Do I only know how to back kick? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I just karate chopped the heck out of his homie. I'm sorry.
No, I am your
Are
older
these guys-
brother.
Are you?
Whoa. Kate. Oh my God! Just hit me like down the stairs.
What do the bad guys look like?
Women.
Oh,
And you just jumped off the building, and you're dead.
oh, and you're dead too.
Okay, I got the guy behind.
Yeah, good
No
stuff,
worries.
good stuff, good stuff.
Thank you.
Is he coming in here doing cartwheels?
Oh,
Ooh, my bad.
Just fell to your death. Lost a guy. Oh, you're both dead. Oh, you just hit him with a knife.
I see how it is.
I know his homeboy's getting on
I'm so
him.
proud of you.
I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh my.
Is this, what is that?
She jumped off the edge again.
Okay, but like, why are they like hitting me? Like, why are they beating me up? Like, why are they winning?
These guys have weapons. They should try and use them.
You guys can pick those up.
Bow.
Oh yeah, this is good. Oh, this feels
What
right.
did I just do?
Did I just throw it? I just threw it.
Yo, why it seem like that dude from the 80s and 90s? It seemed like this dude came straight out of a Three Ninjas movie.
I just do.
Did I just throw it? I just threw it.
That's like Elliot from E.T.'s older brother or something.
I did not know
I'm
how to
going
get him.
solo.
Go up.
Oh, come on, get him before he can get you. Okay. Oh, I jumped. Oh my god, wait, can I hit him like in the head if I jump?
You guys did it. You beat the level.
Oh.
Boom.
I did all that work.
I
I'm
was
actually
player one. No, I was player one.
Now,
Yo, I think you're beating me up. I don't know who you're beating up. I'm dying.
now you beat it.
We
You
killed
did
him though.
Get him while he's down. Get him. Yeah!
I like the fighting games.
The fighting one was fun, but I feel like they should give instructions.
You guys were into it.
Oh yeah.
You gave us people to punch.
That was fun.
It was fun, but they need to put railings on their ceilings.
We're going to 1988, Mega Man 2.
It's like so fast. Like it gets my adrenaline going.
Bubble Man, Air Man, Quick Man.
They about to get destroyed at Mega Man. Nobody's getting past the first level.
Ash Man.
They all have man and there's just Dr. Willie.
Oh,
Well, he's the
man.
leader. Are any of them intimidating?
No.
We're gonna play the Metal Man stage. It's considered one of the best.
What? This looks like Among Us.
Oh my god, this is so scary. This is like the Kim Possible
You
game.
can't tell when they're coming down.
No!
What are you experiencing so far, Viv?
Like an escalator.
Confusion.
Oh, okay. Look at me with my timing.
Yeah, Sophia.
Hello, I am so good at this.
You have a little bar. It's on.
I
It's on
died.
here.
What are those?
What are
Drills?
those? Drills. They are drills.
Don't do that.
Thank you.
What is this?
What is that?
Ah! What are these soda cans?
Shoot him in the face.
Shooting lots of things. All the things are being shot. All the things are being shot. Make a run for it.
No! How do I do this?
You're doing it. Keep going.
Go.
I know.
Nobody's gonna get past
Don't go.
one level.
Okay. Ah! Wait! Ah!
Oh, he follows you.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That was really bad. You should have shot the guy first.
Is that Stick the bad guy? That's like a Q-tip.
Oh.
Wait, use your gun.
Gun. I pressed my gun! You're telling me I actually made it to Metal Man?
Oh, nice.
Riker, you're about to battle the end
I
boss.
already made it.
Okay.
Oh, he finna
He
die.
jumps high.
Everybody's dying.
Girl!
You're about to beat him! You're about to beat him! You're about to beat him!
Dag, she peeking the microphone. Jeez Louise.
He's so scared of me, he like literally can't even get away. Like,
Oh,
Sophia, you almost beat him.
That's why, see, she shouldn't have started talking. Shouldn't have started bragging. Talking about he's so scared of me. Girl, you are playing Mega Man.
On your first try ever. Good job.
I'm embarrassed.
Jump.
Well, my
All right.
That's how it usually goes.
Don't jump off on the first one. Nice. You're doing better than me.
Okay.
you know that happened on the Mario level, so.
Okay, Keith.
You're doing really well. Can you please avenge? Can you kill him for me,
Ooh,
please?
impressive.
You can kill him for me. If anyone can do it, it's you.
This is like Wipeout.
They took extra squares to make it have extra lighting and textures. So on all of these, I lasted longer than her.
Ah, now I'm back to.
Hey, I wanted to hear where she was going with that. It sounded like she's about to kick some knowledge.
Oh,
See? I'm so proud of this man as I'm his coach. You run!
Come here, monkey man.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. She knows what's up.
Yeah, Angel, you a
Shows what's up.
gamer?
Yes.
Go.
You said go. That's your fault.
She's insane.
Oh, she's got a chance. Here we go. Oh.
It reminds me of like the Kim Possible game on the DS that I used to play, and it's kind of like the same concept in like the little like defeat the boss, kill all the.
Oh no, the conveyor belt got you, bud.
Tiffany, crack. Make him
Nobody's
jump.
gonna win.
Make him move. You're so good.
Yo,
I feel great.
yo, I'm genuinely impressed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna sit up here and lie. When I'm playing games, save states, save states, save state, save state, save state, save state. I don't care if you say I'm cheating or not, man. As soon as I get past a part that was hard, save. As soon as I get past another, save.
Great. I feel like that. I felt so empty, and now I feel full again.
Did you guys have fun?
See, he's been practicing his whole life just for this.
Just for
moment.
this.
Would you guys play this game again?
Yes.
Carolina, what are your final thoughts?
I don't think this is the greatest game of all time.
I've heard about Donkey Kong. I've never played it.
You have played it.
Wow, that's
But
crazy.
never on like a system. It's always been on like the arcade.
Rescue Pauline, right?
You're gonna rescue Pauline. This is the original first ever debut of Mario.
Pauline, the original Princess Peach.
In a video game.
It's like 2D. Like I literally could draw this.
She said it's like 2D. All of the games you've been playing have been 2D. What?
Dude.
Killing it.
Oh, I would not know. Ah.
So I got.
Oh, up. Jump.
I am Jumpman.
All right, your goal is to get to the top.
What's Gil or Dill?
I don't know if she was joking or not, but that is the character's name is Jumpman. Unless I'm tripping, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Mario. I'm pretty sure it was Jumpman, but I could be tripping. Let me know in the comments.
Oil.
It's what?
Oh.
You see, I thought it was invincible.
Oh, good jump.
Sorry, I'm getting real quiet. Y'all are like, tackle!
Oh. Okay, what was that like so far? How are you feeling? Gotta jump.
You know, his name is Jumpman.
Okay, I knew I wasn't tripping.
He's following.
Jumpman, that boy up to something. Y'all think that y'all think they based the song on Donkey Kong? I doubt it.
Under me.
What do you think of the sounds?
Annoying. I hate this.
What? Pa.
Jumping
timing is
on the
impeccable.
Jumpman.
Your timing is impeccable.
I am Jumpman.
Your timing is impeccable.
You did it! You beat it!
Dang,
Just
yo,
killed it.
they team is good, man. Like her and him, yeah, they getting through all the games.
That level.
I'm hammering it up.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh! That was a good run.
Up,
It's
down,
okay.
left, right, up, down, A.
You trying to Konami
Left,
code it?
right,
No.
up.
I'm stressing, and I
Okay.
died.
Ooh, you just got booty burned.
Only jump when something's about to kill you.
What? Can I jump over fire?
Yes,
Yes.
you can.
You have to
Oh.
jump over the barrels with A.
Why was she running the opposite way?
Get up!
How do I get it? Ah! Okay. That was rigged.
Up.
It glitched. Bad
No.
game.
It did not glitch.
It glitched.
No, it did not.
Come on. What do you mean? What do you mean? You go down ladders? Thing goes down ladders?
Oh my goodness. Go up, quick.
I'm going.
Okay.
I hope it turns. Yes.
Yo, that girl need to be in movies or something. She's super animated. It's hilarious.
Are you kidding? This game is like literally rigged. Like they can't even make straight lines.
Jump.
Oh.
I'm done with this game.
Did you just rage quit?
Jump mechanics.
Ooh, jump mechanic.
It is okay. You tried. Good stuff, man.
My brother's so disappointed in me right now.
Would you play it again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I win.
The music and the sound effects is not it.
Okay. Not your bag.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't need to hear beep every single time he moves his foot.
I liked it.
Yeah. Riker. So would you guys play this game
No.
again?
Yeah, I didn't even get captured by a gorilla in the first place.
We're going back to 1988 when this was released on the NES. It's Bubble Bobble.
Oh, they're so cute.
One of my favorite games ever. You need to shoot your bubbles at the bad guys. You will encase them, and then you need to pop them with your dragon spikes.
Me and my son be playing this game too on the arcade machine. He a beast at this. For the longest, I thought it was Bubble Bubble. But it's Bubble Bobble, not Bubble Bubble. Bubble Bobble, not Bubble Bubble.
You play Bubby and Bobby, two dudes that were transformed into bubble dragons, and you're on a quest to save your girlfriends from Baron von Blubba.
Everything you just said, explaining it and all the names, it just sounds like a baby babbling.
Let us make a journey to the Cave of Monsters.
Oh, okay.
Things that touch you will kill you.
Which color am I?
How do I pop?
You pop them with your body.
ju-
You pop them with your body.
I feel like I was a little bit clickbaited.
The music is like.
Why?
I was expecting like Rainbow Road Candyland when I saw the cover.
I can't catch the apples? Oh, I eat the apples. Dude, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it.
Boom!
Get him. Which one are the bad guys?
You just killed them all.
I can eat fruit.
That's, yeah, dude, that's the spoils. To the victor go the spoils.
Wait,
I'm shooting bubbles.
I'm
He's just not
confused.
You gotta pop the bubbles with the monsters in them.
why am I popping? Oh, was that good?
That was good.
This is cute. I like this game.
She's doing everything for me.
Who made that audible sigh? Was that the guy? Was that one of them, or was that the guy who's narrating this? Let's
I've
take a-
sat.
This is cute. I like this game.
She's doing everything for me. I've sat out the whole time. Like I'm the bench warmer.
They look like little minions.
I think the graphics are absolutely horrid.
Is this supposed to be this easy?
It gets harder as you go.
I love this.
Don't let this be a repeat of the dragon game.
Okay.
And don't fall off.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm clicking buttons and hoping something happens.
Oh, Jules.
I died.
Go to your home. Sit
Chocolate
down.
covered shot.
Goodbye.
Like it's so
Thank you for your time.
cute. It's such. Oh,
Is this cake? Jello? Is it Jello? I don't like Jello.
How do I kill him?
You don't. They kill you.
This is definitely one of the first games that I would think of downloading.
I think it's designed for.
They keep saying downloading. Okay, I guess y'all in the emulation scene. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get an Amber Nick.
Kids who can't really see gruesome stuff or scary stuff like fire. There's bubbles. Like
I'm
it's so
texting it
cute.
out.
It's such a cute little game.
Okay. But enjoyable and you guys liked it?
Definitely.
Yes.
I think it's cute. But like I said, I still feel clickbaited.
I can see why it's your favorite, but I don't know what the buttons do. Like I just played it and I don't know which one pops or which one does that.
And you made it very far. This is called Ghosts and Goblins, one of the most notoriously difficult Nintendo games ever created. Not just Nintendo games ever created.
It looks very hard.
Whoa!
The music's kind of good.
Hey!
Did they just snatch my girl?
Are we really saying that zombies are this smart? Oh,
Ooh, now you naked.
You're doing really well.
Yeah, Angel, keep going.
Like,
I'm so confused.
she
Is
sees
this
things-
money on the floor?
Her brain doesn't go, is that something? What is it? She goes, something, kill, kill, kill. It's like,
Now you're in your undies.
Oh no! How do I get out of my undies?
Over there's armor.
Oh my god! Ah!
You're naked.
Oh, I died.
whoa, whoa. What?
oh.
I literally was hitting the button.
Oh, bones.
Go up the ladder.
my
up
God,
the
how do I
ladder,
go
up
up?
the
How do I
ladder,
go
up the ladder.
Is that a bomb?
No!
Fire.
Wait, I need to read.
I've never been a big fan of this game. I think it's just the aesthetic. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I was
And then when I hear about how difficult it is on top of it, I don't know. Maybe I need to give it a chance.
There's no
ready.
reset. Go, go,
I
go.
was not ready. Look,
Aw.
girl, I'm dead. Good night, girl.
Last life.
Yeah.
No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no.
Hey, look at me.
Oh, skeleton. All right.
Okay, how is that allowed?
And
How-
then you get
Okay, no.
I
These
looked away
games,
for 2 seconds. You died.
hello, these poor 80s children, like,
No, 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 no. I
No,
needed
you're
that.
okay.
Can I get more
You
armor?
didn't need that. You have everything you need.
Oh,
No.
bones.
Cause
Okay, Keith, what's
Oh my
happening?
gosh.
Wait, I'm actually going really far. See, I told you the hard ones I'm good at. And
No.
then I died.
That's why you can't
There's
talk
something
stuff.
under me. It's
it's your new weapon.
That's your weapon.
You're doing good. You got
I
it.
appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Where did you come from? Where did you come from?
He came
It's
from the
okay.
ground! You made it like 10 feet. How did you guys feel about that one?
I really liked it.
I really liked it.
You liked it?
It was so fun.
That's so
An
hard.
adrenaline pumping.
Okay, maybe I'm sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm sleeping. Maybe I need to give it a shot again.
It was difficult. It was difficult. Not like I can't do difficult things, but it was difficult.
Did that game live up to being one of the hardest games?
No.
No!
He just didn't try.
This was the most fun I've had in a long time since my childhood, for sure.
Racker, how do you feel?
Absolutely locked in.
My dad, he's probably not that good of a gamer. He only got to play on the NES. That means he's better than you.
Angel, what was your favorite?
Ghosts and Goblins.
That was your favorite out of all of them?
Yes.
Awesome, okay.
They took the most strategy from me.
All right. What one did you like the least?
Bubble Blob.
Oh, you shut your mouth.
The one where I'm his brother helping him out getting the girl back.
You didn't like Double Dragon?
No, because I fell off the roof a trillion times and then it didn't bring me back.
You liked Mega Man?
Mega Man. That was fun.
What was your favorite game that you played today?
Ghost Goblins.
That was your favorite?
Either
Yeah.
Mega Man or Ghost Goblins.
Which one? Which
Probably
one was Mega Man?
The one that I was like, ah!
Oh, you hated
You were
it.
like in all of them.
It was the little blue.
All right, yeah. So that was dope. That was dope. All right, that is amazing. Seeing the young generation who just grew up with internet, the internet kids before Super Nintendo, or I'm sorry, after Super Nintendo and all of that, didn't get to experience any of that. It's super dope seeing how they feel about these games that we cherish so much. I'm trying to raise my kids up to appreciate all of those games, you know, from the Super Nintendo to Atari, all of those, you know, and they're right now they're 3 and 7, and like they know about those retros, you know. I feel like a great dad. I ain't gonna hold you. But all right, y'all, I appreciate you tuning in, and salutations to the nations. Oh yeah, I'm doing a live. We got more.
Back in the mid-90s, to many of us, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was peak culture. After all, how could you not love a show where a group...
This is Top Hat Gaming. They lied to us about this Power Rangers game. All right, let's check it out.
Back in the mid-90s, to many of us, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was peak culture. After all, how could you not love a show where a group of unrealistically well-behaved teenagers, seriously, they never once failed to do their homework, were handpicked by a giant floated head in a fishbowl to save the world from evil? The plot lines were gloriously ridiculous. Rita Repulsa, the gravel-voiced space witch, spent days hurling oversized garden gnomes at Earth, hoping for the best. Every week, the spandex-clad teens karate chopped her creations into oblivion, prompting Rita to throw a full-blown tantrum and scream, "Make my monster grow," as if yelling louder would finally make her plan work. The Rangers would then summon the Zords, giant mechanical dinosaurs that combined to form the Megazord, a robot so clunky it moved like it was 2 steps away.
Man, just looking at this part right here, I think about when the Green Ranger came.
That combined
Right
to form
here.
the Megazord.
Hold up. When the Green when the Green Ranger came into the cockpit and you threw all of them out.
And scream, "Make my monster grow," as if yelling louder would finally make her plan work. The Rangers would then summon the Zords, giant mechanical dinosaurs that combined to form the Megazord, a robot so clunky it moved like it was 2 steps away from a hip replacement. This thing had all the combat grace of a toddler in a snowsuit, yet somehow every single week it pulled off the same finishing move like clockwork. Honestly, it was like watching Hulk Hogan. Slow, predictable, and he was victorious every time. And much like Hulk, we just cheered and accepted it, because questioning it would ruin the magic. So yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was peak culture. It was ridiculous, nonsensical, and utterly addictive, which is why getting our hands on the 16-bit video games remains one of the most exciting memories of our childhood. Recently on this channel, we revisited both the original Super Nintendo game and its Sega Mega Drive counterpart, 2 vastly different experiences that frankly could have been much better. Nintendo's offering was a short, simple, and...
Have y'all played the new Power Rangers game? I have not played it yet. Let me know if it's worth it. I do like beat 'em ups. I love the Ninja Turtles game. Let me know if that Power Rangers game is worth it. I heard that it was trash when it first came out, but they made a lot of improvements.
Incredibly easy beat 'em up. Sure, it was fun, but it completely missed the mark by excluding everyone's favourite character, the Green Ranger, and the title was certainly no Turtles in Time or Streets of Rage in terms of depth. Over on the Mega Drive, Sega fans got a game that looked and played entirely differently. This version, to its credit, did include the Green Ranger, and even his Dragon Zord, but as a versus fighter, it fell short. The action felt clunky and unpolished, especially compared to other heavy hitters in the genre at the time. If I had woken up to this one on Christmas Day of 1994, I reckon I would have been extremely underwhelmed. Leading me to conclude, after a recent playthrough, that Nintendo fans definitely had the better Power Rangers game to enjoy that year. Or did they? As while these were the two titles that seemed to get all the marketing hype when I was a kid, in some ways we were completely misled into believing that either of these games was the best Power Rangers experience available at the time.
You know what was a good Power Rangers game? Was the Power Rangers game on the Game Gear. I don't know if it was the Power Rangers movie game or not. I can't remember. I'll let y'all know. Maybe I'll do a video recommending that game if I do like top 10 Game Gear games or something, but that's a fun game.
Spoiler alert, they weren't. They lied to us. They completely duped us. And honestly, none of us should have wasted our time with either title. As it turns out, the real effort all went into an 8-bit game. On a handheld, no less.
Is he about to talk about what I just mentioned? I have not seen this video yet, I promise. Yo, I think that I'm pretty sure this is the Game Gear one.
Yes, imagine that. That's right. The Ultimate Power Rangers game during the peak of the franchise's popularity wasn't on the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, or even the Mega CD, which, let's be honest, barely qualifies as a game and feels more like an interactive slideshow. Nope, the crown jewel of Power Rangers gaming was shockingly a Sega Game Gear exclusive.
I knew it. I knew it. That game is so fun and the graphics look so good. I cannot believe that's what this video is about. I honestly had no idea. That's crazy. That's making me so happy right now.
That's right, the Game Gear. The handheld console that required a small power plant to keep running for more than 30 minutes and weighed enough to double as a home defense weapon. It appears that while the big name consoles fumbled with mediocrity, this plucky little portable somehow managed to deliver the definitive Power Rangers experience. Who saw that coming? Certainly not.
This is a real cheese on my face. Like, I cannot believe this is what he's talking about. This is making me so freaking happy.
My younger self, who was too busy being duped by glossy ads for the...
Download this game today, okay? Download this ROM today. It is so fun.
The Super Nintendo and Mega Drive versions. The kicker? I actually owned a Game Gear. I could have had this gem from day one, but instead I was stuck playing inferior versions while my handheld gathered dust. Typical. Some of you at home brought this game to my attention through the comments, sharing how much you love it. So, clearly a few of you were ahead of the curve and on the right side of history even back then. This game is just one of many fantastic titles I've had the pleasure of enjoying recently. There's an endless treasure trove of 90s inspired greatness out there, and just as you often guide me towards the good stuff, I want to return the favour and point you in the right direction too. For example, using my affiliate links, I can get sent off the reasons of huge thing. As for the game we are focusing on today, my mind is honestly blown regarding how much fun I had with this one. It is literally the Power Rangers game all my childhood dreams could have ever asked for. And it's on the Game Gear, of all things. Which probably has some of you wondering, who have never played it, what could possibly make it so special that I would heap this level of praise on it? Well, let me explain. While the Super Nintendo...
Nah, let me explain. So, I'm going to start off by the graphics, okay? It is a beautiful pixel art masterpiece, okay? The fighting is fun. It's so fun. The controls are so fun and easy. The White Ranger is on there, okay? What else? The Megazord fights are so fun, and the boss battles are so fun. The game is just overall fun.
Nintendo game was a beat 'em up and the Mega Drive game was a versus fighter in a highly interesting approach, the developers behind this handheld offering released this one as somewhat of a hybrid between the two, resulting in something rather unique. Rather than just creating an even shittier version of the fighting game that can be found on the Mega Drive, instead this game was created completely from scratch and tailored specifically for the Game Gear, taking advantage of all the handheld's capabilities while keeping...
You know something? It's gonna be so funny to say this. This might not be the one that I played. The one I played might be the movie one, but it looks a lot like this because it has the Green Ranger on this, and I'm pretty sure the one that I'm referring to doesn't have the Green Ranger, it only has the White Ranger. But I mean, this basically looks like the exact same game.
The gameplay simple and engaging for fans of a TV series. In my opinion, this one is just about as perfect as a game is going to get on a system this.
So if you want the White Ranger, download the movie one. And if you want the Green Ranger, download just the regular one.
Humble, as
I think.
For the gameplay itself, I am not sure whether the best way to describe it would be as a side-scrolling beat-em-up with elements of one-on-one fighting, or as a versus fighter with beat-em-up elements. So let me break down further exactly what I mean by this. In each stage, after selecting your preferred ranger, you face off against the infamous Putty Patrol, fighting your way to victory with punches and kicks while clearing the screen of enemies. Unlike sprawling side-scrolling levels seen in games like Streets of Rage, the action takes place on a confined single-plane battlefield. This setup is more reminiscent of Street Fighter II and other iconic fighting games of the era, allowing you to move only back and forth within the limited space. These segments are incredibly satisfying to play, thanks to the tactile and responsive controls. The sound effects when landing a hit are equally gratifying, delivering that perfect sense of impact. Wonderful. Sometimes the simplest of game choices lead to the best results. Players have...
Yo, man, I ain't gonna hold you. The putties on this game is hard to beat sometimes. They will straight up jump you. You feel me? And in my mind, I just be thinking, dude, you can't lose to these putties. You're the White Ranger.
access to 3 basic attacks, one of which is performed by pressing both action buttons simultaneously. A throw and 3 special moves for each character are also possible. The simplicity of the control scheme is a key factor in making the game so joyous. The responsive and intuitive setup allows for fast-paced combat, while the variety of special moves ensures that each character feels distinct and fun to play. This balance of accessibility and depth will help to keep you feeling addicted and engaged, as pulling off combos or landing a well-timed special move delivers a sense of accomplishment without overwhelming complexity. Honestly, I have never experienced a Game Gear game before where combat feels this fun. Just like in the show, after taking down the relentless Putty Squad, players get the chance to face off against the infamous Monster of the Week. What makes this feature great is the sheer variety of adversaries pulled straight from the TV series, each with their own unique designs and attack patterns. This attention to detail captures the essence of the show, making each boss...
I used to do karate when I was a kid, and I went to a competition. I don't think I fought in the competition. I'm pretty sure because I sucked. But I don't know her name in real life, Kimberly, but the Pink Ranger was there, and I think that she did a kata or something, but like she do martial arts in real life.
Boss encounter feel like a significant event. The battles in the game deliver a strong dose of nostalgia, while the strategic elements needed to defeat each monster add an extra layer of depth and challenge. The difference in quality between the action in this Game Gear version and its counterpart on the Mega Drive is like night and day. Despite their visual similarities, each Power Ranger feels distinct, with unique playstyles that set them apart from one another. What's equally impressive and something that would have thrilled me as a child is how incredibly faithful the game is to the story and the pacing of the Power Rangers TV show. From the moment you, excuse the pun, power up the game, you're treated to the iconic theme tune alongside written imagery and dialogue that mirrors the show's plot. Sure, we got this kind of stuff with the others, but it's all the stuff that happened soon after that truly got me. In story mode, much like the Mega Drive version, we're treated to scenes of Rita commanding her monsters to be created, setting the stage for the action. You then select your Ranger in their unmorphed form, which leads to an awesome morphing sequence before being thrown straight into the action I described earlier. It's a fantastic way to stay true to the show while keeping the gameplay exciting and immersive. Just as one would hope, after defeating them in Ranger form, Rita makes her monsters grow, allowing us to fight them again, but this time as the Megazord. But there is so much more other cool stuff that I'm yet to mention. For instance, just like in the TV show, Goldar frequently shows up mid-battle for a quick scrap, only to retreat shortly after, ensuring he remains a constant thorn in your side throughout the game. This gameplay element perfectly captures the spirit of the series, and an extra dose of authenticity that none of the console versions managed to replicate. It's a brilliant touch that makes the Game Gear version feel
It's one of my favorite games to use save states on.
uniquely tied to the essence of the show. Speaking of the show-inspired features, just like in the Mega Drive game, the legendary Green with Evil arc is represented in the title, meaning we get to do battle with everyone's favourite bad boy, the Green Ranger. What's even cooler about this?
Yeah, so definitely the Power Rangers movie one is the one with the White Ranger.
This is that in Stage 3, it's not necessary to fully defeat the evil Green Ranger to progress, as emulating the TV show, the Power Rangers free him from Rita's mind control. While you can take him down by depleting his health bar, you can also survive in the fight for a set amount of time, after which he retreats. Another element where you can see extra attention to detail was put into this version compared to the Mega Drive version is that, like in the show, the CPU-controlled evil Green Ranger has an edge over the playable version, as he can use the Sword of Darkness to perform a range attack, a move that's not available to the player-controlled Green Ranger. After all, when he joins the Rangers in the show, he only has access to the Dragon Flute. Another feature that absolutely blows the Mega Drive version out of the water is what happens after you defeat the Green Ranger and his Dragon Zord. Not only do both join your team, granting you access to control the Dragon Zord, just like in the Mega Drive game, amazingly, this is the only Power Rangers game that allows you to play as the Dragon Megazord. This level of fan service is unparalleled, giving players like us...
Hey, that's hard. Yo, I'm gonna have to download this Game Gear version, so then I have both.
A rare opportunity to experience one of the most iconic combinations in the series history. If I played this as a child, it would have been a complete game changer. Seeing the Dragon Megazord in action, controlling it, and watching its powerful moves would have blown my little Power Rangers obsessed mind. The fan-pleasing content makes this game feel like a true celebration of the franchise, something that I would have cherished as the ultimate Power Rangers experience growing up. It feels crazy that all of this effort was put into the 8-bit version when it wasn't with Sega's 16-bit versions. How is this game even real? Even the stage backdrops where we control the Zords feel like they've been pulled straight from the show.
Man, this game's so good. It seemed like a fan made it, you know? But it, obviously wasn't the case. But that's how good this game is.
Perfectly matching the locations featured in the series.
If you played this game or the Power Rangers, the movie game, let me know in the comments. And tell everybody I ain't lying. Like, this game is super dope. It's my favorite Game Gear game.
It's clear the developers did their homework with this one, paying close attention to every detail to capture everything. The whole thing is nothing short of amazing, especially as it builds to a satisfying climax where we finally get to take out our frustrations on Goldar and his Zord Cyclopsis, which means so much more when he has been annoying us the entire game. It's the ultimate payoff, delivering a thrilling sense of victory that feels like a proper finale to this Power Rangers adventure. I absolutely love it. What's even crazier is that this is just one play mode. On top of the story mode, there's also a full Street Fighter 2 style versus mode, complete with a player select screen that lets you choose from all 16 fighters in the game. Complete mode. On top of the story mode, there's also a full Street Fighter 2 style versus mode, complete with a player select screen that lets you choose from all 16 fighters in the game. That's an impressive roster for a fighting game of this.
Yo, that's hard. So was it playing against a computer or playing against another person?
This era, especially for a
could you connect Game Gears like you could Game Boys? I don't know if you could do that or not.
Handheld title. Seriously, how does this game not get more recognition? It's bursting with content and features that rival even some home console fighting games of the time. It's madness, I tell thee. The roster includes the 6 Power Rangers, Putties, Zords and Cyclopsis, though there are some clever restrictions. The Power Rangers and Putties can't go head to head with the Zords or Cyclopsis, and the Dragon Zord fighting mode can't clash with a standard Dragon Zord or Megazord, plus no duplicate characters are allowed in battle. But don't worry, although show accurate, we have a way around this. Once you complete story mode, you unlock Dream Mode, a game changer for versus battles.
Why does the Game Gear game have this much content? Like, what?
This mode lets you throw all the rules out of the window. Want to put a human-sized character against a towering Zord? Go for it. Want two identical characters to duke it out? Done. It's the ultimate sandbox for Power Rangers fans, turning every dream match into a reality. There's also a link mode, which I assume works with the Game Gear link cable, allowing for two-player versus.
Okay, so that answers my question. So Game Gears did have a link cable. That's dope. I did not know that.
Combat. Unfortunately, I don't have two Game Gears, two copies of the game, or the link cable to test it out myself. If anyone watching has tried this feature, I'd love to hear how well it works. Let me know if it's worth hunting down the extra hardware to give it a go, especially considering this might be the best Game Gear game I've ever played. I think without
Same thing I said.
question that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Game Gear is a standout title that perfectly captures the spirit of the show while delivering fun, engaging gameplay. With its mix of beat 'em up and one-on-one fighting mechanics, a faithful recreation of a TV series storyline, and an impressive roster of 16 characters, including Zords and even the Dragon Megazord, it offers variety and depth rarely seen in handheld games of the time. The responsive controls, nostalgic sound design, and fan service packed details, like morphing sequences and iconic monsters, make it a must-play for all fans of the show. Add in the bonus of Dream Mode for crazy unrestricted matchups, and it's clear this game is a gem that deserves more love and recognition. We really couldn't have hoped for anything any better. Some of you brought this game to my attention through the comments, sharing how much you love it, recognising its brilliance long before I did. As you've guided me towards gems, I want to return the favour. For example, using my affiliate link and 40 different games.
Alright, yo, so that was hard. I love Power Rangers. As you can see right here. I love Power Rangers. I am downloading that game tonight. I don't care what time I get done with this live. I don't care how tired I am. I'm going to wake up with that game on my Game Kitty bubble. Okay? If you have not watched my video about the Game Kitty bubble, it is an emulator, but it is like a Game Gear. It looks like a Game Gear. All right, I'm going to make sure that I tag it to this video so that y'all see. But that is what I will be playing it on. That game looks so dope. I have Power Rangers, the movie, on Game Gear, which is still a fun game. I don't know if it has all that content because I have not beat it, but it is very fun. All right, yo, so let's keep it pushing. I'm going to go ahead to the next video.
You are here.
All right. So, we got some turtle stuff going on. You feel me? So, this channel is the Old Turtle Den, and they do excellent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle content. And this is TMNT, The Last Ronin movie, still happening in development. All right, let's see what he got for us.
Angel Knot.
Because the outside world rejects you.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another Turtle Updates video where we cover some of the latest Ninja Turtles news stories that have come out in the past few weeks and put it all together into one big video. Today we have some Ninja Turtles comic book news, TV show news, video game news, even movie news, and new collectible.
Yo, that was hard. Yo, that action figure looked cold.
Turtles comic book news that have come out in the past few weeks and put it all together into one big video. Today we have some Ninja Turtles comic book news, TV show news.
Oh, that's so sick. That's so hard. I got me some turtle stuff here. I got some right here. I got some right here. You feel me? My whole desk is Ninja Turtle themed. My whole YouTube setup.
News, video game news, even movie news, and new collectible reveals, and we're going to discuss it all. So go ahead and grab a slice of pizza as we dive into the sewers and check it out. Okay, so first story we have is something a lot of you guys have been asking about in the comments recently, and that's updates on the Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin movie. For those of you who may be new subscribers or just maybe happen to...
Have y'all read The Last Ronin? Do you know who The Last Ronin is? If you know, don't say it in the comments. I know who it is. You feel me? But don't spoil it for other people. Come on, man. Y'all spoiling it for other people. Y'all some losers.
Missed the news last year. Back in April of 2024, we saw an exclusive report on The Hollywood Reporter that an R-rated Ninja Turtles the
A R-rated Ninja Turtles movie. Man, this is what we've all been waiting for. It's so dope to see that, and I think that they're starting to understand that there can be multiple iterations of turtles going on at the same time. You can have the mature audience turtles, you can have the kid-friendly turtles, you can have all of these things simultaneously coexisting, you know?
Last Ronin movie was in the works from producer Walter Hamada, and it was said that Tyler Burton Smith, who wrote the 2024 movie Boy Kills World, would be writing it. Okay, so now let's get into...
I haven't seen that movie, but I have seen trailers, and it does look dope. If that movie's dope, Boy Kills World, let me know.
The new stuff that has come out surrounding this movie. So first up, we're looking over here on the January issue of Toy World magazine. This is a magazine where you can see previews of upcoming figures, things like that. And you can see some of these companies talking about what they're working on and what's on the horizon. And you can see that they talk about all the upcoming Ninja Turtles projects, which we'll talk about some of the others here in a minute. But one thing that stuck out to me was the acknowledgement of the upcoming Last Ronin movie. So to me, this was a big deal, as I believe this is the first time someone at Paramount acknowledges the project, because other than that Hollywood Reporter report, there hasn't been a peep on this project officially. And this here in this magazine kind of...
And they need to keep it that way. They don't even need to be talking about it, no, just get it done.
Is it. Let's read what they had to say about it. It says, a sequel to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is set to hit theaters in October of 2026, which we already knew that one was happening. But then here it says, additionally, a theatrical adaptation of The Last Ronin is now in development, further expanding the Turtles' cinematic universe. Now, I don't know what they mean about that last part where they say the Turtles' cinematic universe. I think they just mean it like in a general sense, like all the movies that they put out, and not necessarily in the way a lot of us would think where it's all like part of a larger interconnected cinematic universe, kind of like how Marvel does it, where all the movies connect to each other. And
yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Things like that. I think they're just saying that it's just an additional movie on top of their Mutant Mayhem movies that are coming out, which are not connected to the Last Ronin universe. At least I don't think. I don't think they would make those turtles have the future that the Last Ronin ends up having. It just doesn't look like that would be the case. But yeah, with all that said, it did make me think I wouldn't be opposed to a Turtles cinematic universe in the traditional sense, where they do have a bunch of movies connecting to each other. Like,
I don't know what y'all think. What you think let me know in the comments. Would that be dope? I could see it connected to the original films, but not the last animated film. No way.
Maybe they can do prequels to this Last Ronin movie where we see these turtles in their heyday. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
it would be
dope.
An interesting choice to start with the end of these turtles' journey. Anyways, we'll see. But yes, the Last Ronin movie has now been officially acknowledged. Now, that's not all. This next part is more of a rumor going around. It started at the very end of 2024, like right before New Year's, but I did see it getting a lot of attention, so let's go through it and take this with a massive grain of salt. I have no idea if this is real, but enough sites were covering it where I think we should take a look at this. So I first saw this on joeblow.com. You can see the headline there reads, Rumor, is James Wan directing the R-rated adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin? Whispers around the Hollywood water cooler suggest James Wan is directing Paramount's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin. Then it reads, during the lead up to this year's Holiday Madness, a rumor concerning the R-rated live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja
I don't know who James Wan is. Do you guys?
Turtles The Last Ronin film began making the rounds. According to industry insider My Time to Shine, Aquaman and Malignant director James Wan could helm the upcoming adaptation of The Last Ronin. And yeah, that's pretty much all it says here. So yeah, that's the rumor. I've seen other sites covering this. You can see comicbookmovie.com also covered it as well. But yeah, we'll see. I just wanted to mention it. Let me know what you think. James Wan does have a lot of hits under his belt. I don't hate it. I'm not sure how he would handle a martial arts film though, which I feel The Last Ronin kind of needs to be. There's Raph versus the Foot Clan and Karai, Leonardo and Michelangelo versus the Foot Robots, Donatello and Splinter versus the Foot Clan over in Japan, and then like the final battle. Like there's a good amount of ninja fighting in this story. I wonder how Juan would handle that if he does end up being the guy. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let's go ahead and move on over to the next story. Okay, so these next couple stories also came over here from Toy World magazine. We can see that Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 2 will be coming out here in 2025 to Paramount Plus. Now,
man, I still ain't seen the first season, man. I'm slacking. I call myself a Ninja Turtles fan and still haven't seen the first season. I just be busy. You know what I'm saying? My cousin keep telling me I need to check it out, man. I'm sleeping. I know it's good, okay? I seen the movie. I know that this is a dope cartoon. I just be busy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we already knew that a second season was coming, although we never knew exactly when, although we all figured it would be here in 2025 since the Mutant Mayhem sequel is going to be in 2026, but there was never any confirmation. Now we have it here. Let's see how they handle it. Let's go ahead and move on over to the next one. One other interesting thing here from the magazine has to do with the new video game. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, gaming also remains a key focus, with Paramount delivering a diverse
yo, I can't wait for that Last Ronin video game. That's what I'm trying to see. Like, these games just talking about it's cool, but I want to see that Last Ronin game
lineup for fans to add to the outright games release of Mutants Unleashed in 2024, so the game that came out last year. A new PC game will launch in the first half of 2025, followed by another console game in the second half of 2025, along with updates to existing digital experiences, ensuring that the Turtles stay at the forefront of interactive entertainment. So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what that PC game is going to be, and I wonder why it's strictly just for PC. We'll see what that's about. Another question mark here is the console game. Will this be a follow-up to Mutants Unleashed, which took place in the Mutant Mayhem universe, or will this be something else? I know they're working on the Last Ronin video game. That was announced a while back, but I don't think either of these are it. When they had announced that, they said that was way out. Like they were going to be working on that for a few years, and it hasn't been that long yet.
Yo, I don't care what console that comes out on. Like, let's say it was like an exclusive PlayStation 6 or something. I will buy the console just to play that game.
Yeah, they're probably trying to line that up with the Last Ronin movies release.
Could you imagine if it was like Ninja Turtles, except on like some Tenshu stealth assassin type stuff?
Whenever that comes out. But yeah, either way, all good news. More turtle stuff just means, at least from my point of view, that they have a lot of confidence in the brand. Now they just gotta execute and give us some badass turtle stories along with really good ninja action. Hopefully that's what we get. All right, next up, we got some new figures news. There have been some new reveals since our last updates video. Pre-orders on this first one in particular do not appear to be available anymore, but I still thought...
All right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead to the next one. Yo, but it's a lot of good stuff coming out with the Ninja Turtles. You feel me? I cannot wait to go see that movie. I can't wait. I don't care how long it takes them to make that movie, as long as it's good. Okay, that movie is already my favorite movie. I've never even seen it. All right, let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Let's go to the next video.
You all in a little bit with another one. Take care.
All right, so.
Angel Knot.
All right, so this is Nuts for Nintendo. It was a special on ABC News 2020 from 1988. The person to post this is Stephen Hartz. All right, yo, so let's go ahead and check this out.
We don't know how to free Zelda, but we do know why kids love them and critics hate them. John Stossel reports, Nuts for Nintendo, when 2020 continues.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games. They first arrived from Japan 3 years ago, and now millions of American kids are hooked and mesmerized. When they do stop to talk, it's in a language only they understand. Well, John Stossel went out to discover the secret of Nintendo's success, but first he had to find one.
New York
York City, early in the morning, before
If he couldn't find one, he should just bought one on eBay.
the toy stores open, they're lined up outside. I'm in line too because the director of 2020 said, Stossel, I hate to ask, but you've got to help me get my kid a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2. This man came all the way from Indiana to get one. He came 1,000 miles just for this game?
Yes. I've done
1,000 miles to get Super Mario. And it's worth it, okay?
stores a day for 3 weeks now. I cannot find it.
I have to live with my kids for the rest of the year, so I have to have this on Christmas Day.
So to please the kids, they line up at the few stores that have been able to get copies of the hottest Nintendo games, Mario 2 and The Adventure of Link.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Now, what's Nintendo, you ask, and why should you care? Well, I think it's something you should know about because it's captured America's children. School bus drivers report that
if they ain't know about it, they was gonna know.
Kids are talking less about clothes and sports and what Joe did to Jane, and more about
when you get to those things that go up and down, you just jump on them.
After school, even on the day that brings the first beautiful snowfall of the season. Everyone's eager to get inside the house so they can rush to get to the television set. Now, usually they don't play together. We invited them to an...
Is this like real or is this like a reenactment? Because this all looks too perfect.
Like, Nintendo party.
Like, look at this.
They pop the cartridge into...
Look at this.
First beautiful snowfall of the...
That is a beautiful snowfall, like he said.
Season. Everyone's eager to get inside the house.
And all them kids run into the same house? I don't know. This seems a little too manufactured to me.
So they can rush to get to the television set. Now, usually they don't play together. We invited them to a Nintendo party.
Oh, okay. I was like...
They pop the cartridge into this deck, which attaches to any television set. These controls direct the characters. The better your eye-hand coordination, the better you do. Never has there been a toy that's been this successful. Bruce,
it's so funny that I don't even think of video games as a toy, but I mean, essentially that is what it is.
Apar is editor of a magazine that follows the industry.
How big a hit is this? This is as big or bigger than anything the toy industry has ever seen. I'll give you one comparison. Barbie, which is an institution, does about $500 million a year. Nintendo does over 3 times as much.
Wow.
Now, why is it so successful? Well, the people in the industry say Nintendo simply has the best games. They come in 2 categories.
And that's what they say to this day, you know? Not everybody agrees. I don't necessarily agree with that. But, I mean, Nintendo has a track record of making good games.
Categories. Sports games such as tennis, hockey, football, boxing. All with good graphics and sound effects. Even more popular are the adventure games like Super Mario.
They definitely make some of the greatest games of all time. I don't know it. That's really hard to think, like Pokemon, you know, Mario, Zelda. These are like games in my top 10, you know. I don't know if they are my top 5, but they're in the top 10.
Mario. They tend to have ludicrous plots. Mario is an Italian plumber who, under your control, enters the Mushroom Kingdom to fight off killer turtles and deadly ducks until he can rescue the Princess Toadstool. The kids love it.
What's good about it?
Birdo. He shoots the eggs out of his nose. And also there's this part where you can't go anywhere.
My kid said that that's Yoshi's cousin.
Except for fall down a pit, but you pick up this thing and this rocket appears out of nowhere and it flies to another board. It's weird.
It's like,
and it's a
big
like,
you would have had to been there.
Improvement over the first video games like Atari's Pong and Space Invaders. Because today's computer chips are better. They have more memory.
There's much more involved in playing the game, much more excitement. There's better use of colors, better use of music. It's not just stick figures anymore.
We have literally over 100 different characters, people, animals, wizards, spells. You see this spread out over different worlds. And when I say different worlds, entirely different sets. If you think about the way a movie is produced, there are levels with caverns, and you break into underground oceans.
There are secret holes that you go into.
The kids delight in finding new twists to the games, secret passages they didn't discover the first times they played, bizarre new weapons.
You're throwing things that I've never even discovered in this game.
Yeah, because you don't know. If you're a grown-up, you hardly do this. If you're a grown-up, you have work to do.
Dang! He went off on that dude. He said, yo, we kids, we bout that life. You grown up lame, get out of here. Why are you even here?
Now, the chips, the technology that goes into this was invented in the United States. Yet, the Japanese are the ones who make it a hit. Why is that?
Nintendo is a 100-year-old company in Japan, and they learned their lessons well.
When buyers lost interest in the first generation of video games about 4 years ago, Nintendo quietly watched as American companies quit the business. Nintendo then bought licenses to the best of the arcade games. They created new games by getting independent designers to compete against each other for the right to work with Nintendo.
Nintendo, please hold. One moment. Thank you. May I help you?
And in Seattle, at the company's U.S. headquarters, they listened to the customers. 50,000 people call Nintendo's 800 number every week asking for help with the games. Phones are manned by games fanatics.
That's so crazy. Could you imagine you just working in a cubicle, but instead of just sitting there like doing a spreadsheet, you got like an NES and a NES pew pew. Like, man, that's crazy.
Often play other games while answering questions.
What that is, when you're at that link, though, you're almost at that point.
Okay, what you want to do is, like I said, jump on the guy with the carpet.
In Japan, the games are an even bigger success. These people are upset because even after waiting all night, they were unable to get their kids a new version of a game called Dragon Quest.
Oh, I'd be heated if I waited all night for something for my kid. Forget if it's a game or whatever it is. If I waited all night outside and then it was not available, oh my gosh, man. Thank God we live in the time of the internet.
In the U.S., it's mostly Mario that they want.
The last Super Mario Brothers 2 was just sold.
Wow.
They get upset.
Oh,
Can you take my name? Can you take my
saw
credit
the
card,
disappointment
please?
in her
Can you do
face.
something? My kid wants it. His friend has it, and they're not friends anymore because he doesn't have it.
All this makes me wonder,
Wow.
is the shortage real, or are they holding
that
back
old
supplies
money.
to increase the mystique? Coleco denies it, but industry insiders say that's exactly what happened with their Cabbage Patch doll a few years ago. The company shipped fewer dolls to increase the excitement. Today, some people in the toy business suspect Nintendo's holding games back. And while videotaping in Japan, we did see plenty of the hard-to-get cartridges. The company denies that it's holding back.
Believe me, creating a shortage
Yeah, because you can believe Nintendo.
of this kind was nobody's design, and
That was sarcasm for those who might not have caught it.
it's just one of those combinations of demand that far exceeded our most optimistic projections and an inability on the chip supplier to fulfill it.
Now you really messed up. You're out.
All this brings us to a final question. Should parents buy these games at all? The National Coalition Against Television Violence thinks they shouldn't because they say they're bad for kids.
Like I like how you shoot the people with boomerangs and bombs.
Ooh-wee. They have no idea what's coming. Oh my gosh. They are getting scared because their kids are throwing boomerangs at people? Wait till they see Manhunt.
I just like jumping on things and killing them and shooting things.
The coalition says this will make some kids act violently. Well, I don't know about that, but there's another problem. Watching the kids play, seeing the intensity of their interest, the word obsession comes to mind.
I bet I'm much better than him at Zelda.
How many hours you play a day?
Around 1 or 2.
2 hours a night.
It's a
When you
lot.
That's not so bad.
shouldn't be doing your homework.
Yeah. She doesn't like it.
Get your homework done, kid.
Girl's mother doesn't like the game.
Because she thinks that you're going brain dead while you're watching it.
Maybe you will be brain dead from staring at this thing all the time.
No.
Meanwhile, they filming a news report to go on TV, and people be brain dead from watching TV all day. Shoot, y'all brain dead from watching me on YouTube. We all gonna be brain dead.
And while we were talking, Mom was watching all this.
Ooh, she
warily.
look heated.
Gets their mind off school when they first come home from school, but then it gets their mind totally off school. So we had to take it away for a while because homework wasn't getting done. Bedtime got pushed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You have control over if your kids can play the games. Like, my kids are young and they play the game, but when it's too much, it's too much. I take them all away. I do not care. I still be playing the games though. One time I told my kids no games today, and I was like, no games for everybody. And then, like, I'm not going. Halfway through the day, I was like, why did I put myself on punishment? Like, I didn't do nothing. The heck? That was the last time I did that.
Aside.
What do you mean take it away for a while?
I disassembled it and put it in the back of a closet for a
Good
while.
for her.
But now you're letting them
Good mom.
Not as much.
John, what's your feeling after watching this? Does it make them, brain...
Is that Barbara Walters? Is that Barbara Walters? I'm so bad at, like, recognizing celebrities. If that's Barbara Walters, she's so young here.
Dad, as you said, isn't there a certain amount of imagination that you have to use for this game?
I think that's true, that it's not just like watching television. You have to use imagination. There are all these ways to handle the games. I think under the right time limits, it's fine.
They gamers. They undercover gamers.
In fact, I got one while doing the story. And
What I tell you? That's so dope.
I'm going to keep it.
For you, or would you give it to your child?
Heck
My
no.
3-year-old likes kill ducks, and my wife and I stayed up.
You ain't gonna give it to the kids? Like, get your own. I don't care if you're 3 or not.
Up till midnight playing it.
And you don't mind the so-called violence in it? Kill ducks, kill ducks?
They're animated characters, and I just think you have to pay attention and limit the time, and it's fine.
Now I know how you're spending the holidays, watching
right.
Nintendo.
Sounds like a great parent to me.
Playing Nintendo.
Playing Nintendo. Good job. Now on to a much more serious report.
Dang, I wonder what that more serious report was. Dang, they got me interested. All right, y'all. So that was that. I thought that was I thought that was very interesting. They have no idea what is to come if they think that Duck Hunt is violent.
Angel Knot.
Modern Pokemon games.
All right, so this video is called "You'll Never Quit Pokemon. Here's Why," and this video is by Joe K. Video Game Essays. All right, let's check it out.
Modern Pokemon games have drama on every release, and yet people keep buying them. In fact, they're buying them more now than almost ever in the past.
I'm not buying them. I didn't buy that last Pokemon after I saw it. First off, it looked like trash, okay? And then I saw all the glitching on YouTube. I did not buy that trash. I bought Arceus. I love Arceus. I don't care what you say about Arceus, man. Don't get me wrong. It's got some glitching here and there. And at first, I didn't necessarily care for the graphics, but watch. those graphics are gonna age like fine wine. I ain't gonna hold you because of the like, what's it called? Like the palette, like the flat palette that they use. When I play that game, it low key feel like I'm existing in lo-fi hip hop. Okay, like that's the whole vibe I get. It's just chill. That is a cozy game.
Why is that? Why does it seem that so many people will never quit
What I mostly play Pokemon though is Poke MMO. I'm gonna do a video on that.
Pokemon no matter what choices Game Freak makes, even if they seem bizarre at times? Well, let's start off with the fact that no matter the complaint or the controversy, Pokemon games never actually seem to have their sales affected by them. Be it Sword and Shield Dexit not allowing you to transfer all previous Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet being a glitchy mess in so many ways visually and gameplay wise, or Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl having a less than stellar art style for a remake, as well as a lot of other things. All these things made huge waves on Twitter or on YouTube with their Nintendo drama channels, but if you're looking at sales, well, Generation 8 is the second best selling Pokemon generation of all time with 26 million units sold, and Generation 9 is close behind with 25 million units sold. And the Generation 4 remakes, well,
I am so glad they're making a new Arceus game. I'm not joking when I say I prayed for them to make a new Arceus game.
they sold 2 million more than the magnum opus that is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's kind of wild. And yeah, the Switch is one of the best-selling video game consoles of all time, so it does kind of make sense. But still, you would expect these very vocalized issues to cause some damage, but it seems like in reality, they don't really. It's obvious that many of you aren't quitting Pokemon because, well, the games are still selling so well. It's obvious that many of you aren't quitting Pokemon because...
Look at that aesthetic. That's what I mean when I say just feel like you in lo-fi, man. Look at that background. It's so beautiful.
Well, the games are still selling so well. And let's all be honest with ourselves, if you clicked on this video, you're very likely to be just like me where you actually kind of love Pokemon, where you have an insane level of nostalgia for this series, and it's likely to keep you a lifelong fan, at least for the older generations. And as well, that nostalgia is gonna quite likely push you to giving these new games a chance. It's just hard to, completely hate everything that you once loved. Be it the card games, the spin-offs, the TV show, or the mainline series, whatever it is.
Seeing that, man, just looks so beautiful. Seeing Pokemon on the Game Boy, man, it was a time to be alive. If you weren't alive then, like, I'm so sorry for you. I don't know how to explain it to you in words. I really don't. It was a time. If you know, you know.
There's been so much to connect with over time, and even if you don't grind the games like you used to, it's hard to...
There ain't no way you just opening up a booster pack and getting a holographic Charizard. Get out of here.
Stop yourself from buying a new gen every year or two just to kind of see what's up, then quickly move on to something else. The main thing in my eyes to why you haven't quit this game series yet is that there's been a decline in the quality of important, but not crucial elements of Pokemon. The game's controls and glitches are worse than ever, as well as a lot of visuals and animations, but the key concepts, the secret sauce of Pokemon, it's all still there. And the games, well, they're just still quite fun to play. Starting with the battle system, it has taken very, very few risks. So it honestly still feels quite fun all these years later because it was just a good system in the first place, even if it can feel quite a bit samey. That sameness, though, also comes with a benefit that is coziness. You're never going to jump into a new generation of Pokemon and go, dang, I don't really know what's going on. I'm overwhelmed. I quit. Like, that's not going to happen because it works the same way that it's kind of...
Have y'all played Poke MMO? If so, let me know.
Always worked. Except for that, maybe you just have to deal with like one new mechanic per generation that honestly is usually introduced in the second half of the game, and that's kind of it. So it's really easy to keep playing these games and to keep going on because basically every new game you play is just a continuation from the old one in 99% of the gameplay. Pokemon designs are also still quite unique and let you connect to them in a way that I don't think a lot of other games quite do. Now, maybe that's not every Pokemon, and maybe even these new generations don't do it quite as well as they did in the past. It's really up to interpretation. But I think there are enough Pokemon that people like in every generation where it's still working out. Such as, Snom, who is in Generation 8, and I love that Pokemon. And I actually got a plushie of it on my trip to Japan. I think it's super cute and super fun. And I think a lot of people just like playing these games to see cute or cool or awesome or whatever new designs, and Pokemon have consistently created them and allow you to as well, which not many other games.
Man, first and second gen got the best looking Pokemon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Call me a boomer. You feel me? I'm not hating on the new Pokemon. I do think that there are some good looking Pokemon in newer generations. But I'm look at Clefairy. Like just a good that's just a good design. Am I tripping?
Games franchises have done that well, allowed you to purchase them in a myriad of ways, which, yeah, not all games do too well, but like the Pokemon plushies, the Pokemon
Whoa.
merch, which
Is that Pikachu made out of rice?
yeah, not all games do too well, but like
That is Pikachu made out of rice.
the Pokemon plushies, the Pokemon merch, all of that, they really do allow you to attach to certain designs in every gen. They've definitely kept the soul and the goal of Pokemon. To go out there into an adventure in an isekai world, essentially, to capture a lot of monsters, to build a team that feels like it's made just for you, to make them more and more powerful as you conquer more challenges, and finally to become the best that no one ever was, to become a champion as you capture Pokemon along the way. The structure of Pokemon hasn't really changed, even if they play around with stuff like gyms or trials or stadiums or whatever. In the end, the purpose of why you're there is the same, and I think it's really easy to get invested into these worlds, into these journeys.
If you're watching this, do me a favor and go ahead and hit like, man, so that YouTube will push it so more people can check it out.
As well as taking those little friends with you. While sometimes the gameplay and definitely the visuals of these games are just kind of broken, to be honest, on the Switch generation.
Oh my gosh, it looked like a
I don't even know
ghost.
how. The ideas are generally quite good. Generation 8 had a lot of areas that were kind of boring to play, basically just going down a hallway. But when you looked at them, they were awesome in concept. And Generation 9, that middle zone, like it just had the vibe. It was so cool. It was so unique, even though it could have maybe looked a little bit better in execution. I think they just keep building these worlds that are awesome to explore and that we want to explore, even if the worlds aren't quite as good or quite as interesting as they used to be. I think for most, it's still good enough.
Nah,
And the thing
no, it's not. It's really not.
that I think is also just that little extra bit of spice that makes these worlds inhabitable and something that I want to go back to time and time again is that the music is still fire. And while this doesn't matter to everyone, some people even play these games muted, I think it is so good in some of these generations, especially Generation 8.
Yo, I can't play no game muted. Like, music is like one of the best parts of games. Who plays games muted? Well, maybe in some circumstances, but for the most part,
That made me so excited to play any battle, to beat the gyms, to go all the way to the end, even though sometimes the gameplay or the map or whatever wasn't quite as good as I was used to. As I've explained, the important ingredients are still well prepared in Pokemon, and they keep the Pokemon machine rolling, even if the end product is not quite as good as it could be, and even if they could definitely use more time for a lot of these games. I think it's good enough for what most people want in ways that their wallet proves that they actually care about. Like, of course, Pokemon could include custom animations for every single Pokemon. They could do that for a lot of moves, for their death, for their animal animation, for everything like Coliseum or Stadium, but like, they don't need to. And while I would love if they did, that isn't the main focus of the games compared to these full battle simulators like Battle Revolution. What they're doing is definitely just making the minimum viable product that's...
If they included animations for every Pokemon and stuff, that would take a long time. That's not my biggest gripe. My biggest gripe with Pokemon games is that they do not have voiceovers. They have so much dialogue and do not have voiceovers. And this is coming from the biggest franchise of all time. Of all time. Bigger than Star Wars. And the fact that they literally have an anime just takes some of the actors and actresses from the anime and put them on the game. Have them do voiceovers. Is that so hard? Is that such a hard concept? I don't get it. That's my biggest gripe with Pokemon. And my second biggest gripe is if you've played, have an option in the beginning of the game to say, I already know all of this stuff. I don't need to learn how to throw a Pokeball, how to do all this. I already know. Stop explaining. Let me skip this part.
Still works, that still appeals to fans, and with a player base as big as a Switch, yeah, it makes sense why that would still sell like hotcakes, even if it could be so much more. All the reasons I've mentioned so far, I think, are great reasons to why we still buy these games. You know, they still provide enough value within the game themselves, But why do we still want to play these games? Well, I'm going to mention a few reasons here, and the first one is that each new Pokemon generation is honestly not that huge of a time investment, and I think that does matter quite a bit. Like, sure, you can put thousands of hours into each game competitively, or you can grind shinies for hundreds of hours, or maybe even get addicted to watching Wolfie videos, but you don't have to. You could just play 30 hours, have fun, complete the generation, and then move on and wait 2 years until the next one and really give yourself time to not get overkill with Pokemon. These games let you play in the way that you want to, be that more or less, and they really have you covered. Another reason why I've been playing them recently,
I love Pokemon so much. Like, I love it so much. Like, I legit in real life started getting sad that I did not own a real life Pokemon. This is in my adult life. This is like last year. I was like, man, I wish Pokemon were real. And I realized it's because I didn't have a pet in real life. And so now I got 2 cats, Pepper and Jalapeno. And I just imagine that they're Pokemon in my mind. and they sit on my shoulder sometimes like Pokemon. So
at least in Generation 9, is that they added multiplayer, and that is a very important thing to me, something that I always wanted in these games. Just being able to walk around with your friends, explore everything with your friends as well. And yeah, I'm just kind of addicted to multiplayer. I won't lie, and I'm sure a good amount of you guys as well. It's just fun to play with other people.
You can do that on Poke MMO.
It's a great time to grind every once in a while with my wife, and then, find a Pokemon I love, eventually buy a plushie. It's just good vibes to play with other people, and these new generations are kind of the only place you can do it. Another boon that Pokemon has,
No. You can do it on Poke MMO.
Competitively and casually, is that I don't think the balance of Pokemon actually matters that much. Now, while it's awesome to have an extremely balanced game, in Pokemon, the way that the stats work and the way that just the gameplay system works, I think it's hard to completely break this game. And casually, I think they've actually done quite a great job, where the old Pokemon have been buffed to a decent standard so that you can basically pull out any new Pokemon, even if it's been crowd creeped a little bit and is a little bit stronger, but doesn't matter that much, or you can play your old favorites and they still work. You can still play through the game and still win the game, at least if you get a little bit over-leveled. With competitive Pokemon, while there have been some pretty bonkers metas, such as with Olras, Primal, Kyogre, and Groudon, I think when a lot of new generations come out, their early VGCs are actually quite fun. So I think while, a loud minority will complain about the balance, I don't think in Pokemon it matters nearly as much as a ranked first mentality type game like, Dota 2 or anything like that. And even if there is power creep making the new Pokemon a bit better than the old ones, again, it doesn't matter that much since anyone can use any Pokemon that they really want to. So I think in the end, it's pretty all right. Those are all reasons why people keep playing the new games, or people keep buying the new games, and why you probably won't quit those. But maybe you have quit those. And I think to you, the old games are also just as amazing as I remembered. I see myself going back and playing them probably until I die, to be honest.
I try to play like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, and like I am slowly playing through Red. I grew up on Blue. I'm slowly playing through Red, but it's not as fun. Like, I try, the nostalgia is what does it for me, but just the life improvements on the new games, yeah, I just can't,
honest. And I play probably one Pokemon game, one of the old games, one of the nostalgic games.
When I say the old games, I'm talking about the Game Boy. I'm not talking about like Game Boy Advance.
At least once per year. Be it trying different teams, playing monotypes, trying to speedrun those games, going for a Nuzlocke and just trying my very best, or maybe even just playing the game really casually and just trying to experience it as I did as a kid. I think all of that is just still enjoyable, and those games, they did age super well. They just have such a nice feeling to them, and maybe it's just the nostalgia talking, but...
It's the nostalgia talking. Don't get me wrong, they're good games, though.
I love going back to those, and I think no matter what, I'm probably never going to quit those. I can definitely see why people may get bored of certain games for a while, why they may need a break for a year or two, or even just skip a generation. But the call to replay your favorite games, that's always gonna come. Booting up Leaf Green or booting up Platinum just to play that game one more time to become...
See, he's talking about, Game Boy Advance games.
The best that no one ever was. That part of my childhood I truly miss, and Pokemon rekindles that joy that I once had, on the back of my family's minivan on those car trips, playing Pokemon with...
It is Game Boy Advance, right? Am I tripping?
My brother. Yeah, it's still there. Overall, I love Pokemon, and while it may not reach that potential that I can imagine for it, that I wish that it could hit, it's still a game series that I love, and it's still a game series that I'm sure a lot of you guys love. a game series that has given me so much enjoyment, so much time with other people, so much to talk about, and I'm sure it's going to continue to do that for years to come. And when you put all those things together, I think that's why you're probably never going to fully quit Pokemon. Maybe you'll stop buying the new games, maybe you're going to only play the new games and not play the old ones, but I think there is just a little bit of something for everyone, at least for me and my friends. And if you want to talk about another game that a large proportion of the population is never going to quit, well, I have a video right here talking about League of Legends, a game.
All right. So I love Pokemon, as many of you probably do. I think the best Pokemon game to get into is Poke MMO. If you have not played that, it is amazing. It is super dope. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next video.
Game that's
so welcome.
Angel Nut.
Back.
All right, so we got Happy Console Gamer. This video is, do I need all this stuff?
To another episode, and yes, the episode is called
I love his channel, by the way. This is probably one of my favorite gaming YouTubers. Every time I watch his videos, you can tell that he has such a passion and love for gaming. It just makes him genuinely happy, and it makes me happy just watching his videos.
Do I really need all of this stuff that's behind me and around my entire place? All the video games, all the anime stuff, all of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff of the past, all my anime art books. Do I really need all of this stuff? Like, what is my problem? And we're going to talk about that today. And I'll ask you guys, what do you like collecting? Let me know down below. And is it too much? Have you gone too far with some of your collections? We all want to know, so definitely leave a comment below. So every once in a
You don't need all of that stuff for real. Only thing you need in life is Jesus, right? But you do want this stuff, you feel me? And it ain't nothing wrong with that.
while, I'll be walking around the games room, or I'll be walking around the rest of my place, and I'm like looking at all this stuff that I've accumulated over the last 40 plus years, and I look at it and I'm like, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff. Like, what is my problem? What's my problem? And the funny thing is,
at what point does it go from we're collecting to we're hoarding? Okay, let me know.
I don't have a problem. That's what I'm gonna say. A lot of people are like, you do have a problem. You're nuts. You gotta stop.
Nah.
And I gotta explain why. And it's not because I'm older now. I just turned 51. It's not because I'm getting older. I'm just nostalgic about the past. It's a little bit deeper than that. And I just want to go back to probably the first time.
Hey, his haircut is sick. Hey, yo, he's straight out the 90s. That dude got bandanas in the back. That dude a blood and a crip. Okay. That jacket hard, too.
I ever had this feeling. And that is, we have to go back to grade 12. I was graduating high school. I was nearly out. It was almost over finally. And I remember sitting on my bed, contemplating moving on with my life. And no longer was I in elementary school. No longer would I be in high school. I was going out to the real world. And I gotta say, I was very, very scared of that concept. I'm like, no, I'm not quite ready for that yet. And all of a sudden, I believe it's the first time that I became super nostalgic. And it wasn't for that long ago as well. And this is like 1993. And I remember sitting there and I turned on Phantasy Star on my Sega Master System. And I'm in grade 12. I'd first played the game in grade 8, down the road, mentioned it a billion times. And this is the moment I had. I was
For context, Phantasy Star is his favorite game of all time.
having a couple of beers, not too many, just a couple, smoking a cigarette, because that's what I did back then. And all of a sudden, I got deeply, I wouldn't even call it upset. I just was like, oh, the longing for the past. I hadn't even been that long. It'd only been a few years from grade 8. And I'm like, oh, I miss those times, playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. And things already at that time were changing. All of our friend groups had broken up. Everybody had gone their separate ways. And it was the end of that era. And I even knew that. And I was just like, oh.
Then dude have Yo, I just coined this term in my head. That dude having a kid life crisis.
Oh, I really love that basement of my friend's place and playing Phantasy Star over there and playing Dungeons and Dragons and all the RPGs. We played so many over there, tabletop games like Top Secret and so many Marvel superheroes. It was great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Robotech, the role-playing game. We did it all. And those times are changing. And so I left high school and I started off into the world on my own. And it was fascinating because at that time I had no money to collect, or I had no money to buy much of anything. I just had a little bit. And at that time I discovered my local anime store, got really into all that stuff. But here's the point that I wanted to say, was that was the first time I had a bit of nostalgia, and it was when I was younger. It's not just because I got older and had it. I was already having it when I was younger. And during the years, playing all of these games has been such a joy. And I played all of these games the moment that they got released. They're not something that I just bought. I bought a big bulk thing of Super Nintendo games. No, I bought all these games as they came out, or Genesis games as they came out.
That's
and
dope.
I had a great amount of fun with all of them because I was just a video game fan. I didn't have a show. I didn't have anything like that. There was no social media. There was no internet. So all my experiences built into my head and into my memories. And that's where I had to hold on to them because I had nowhere else to put them.
You know how people download ROMs and they be like, yeah, but I actually own the game. Nah, he actually owns the games.
You know what I mean? I can go online and say, guys, I want to talk about this new game I'm playing. Like Dragon Warrior 1 back in the day. I couldn't do that. And so it all became about memory. And even bumping into my friend Rob back in the day in like 1995 when I first started hanging out with him. The reason why I liked hanging out with Rob is because we'd sit in my basement and he talked to me about his video game memories. And I was like, wow. And we would share this love of the hobby. And we just would so enjoy it together. And I just would sit there and
I like when he has Rob on the channel. Rob is a huge fan of Mega Man.
I said, tell me that story again, that Christmas when you got your Nintendo. And I was reveling in it. And because that's what we had to do. We couldn't go online and see videos. There was no videos of anybody talking about video games or pop culture then. Not at that time. Yes, the Electric Playground would come out later on with my friend Victor Lucas, but that'd still be a few more years.
I imagine you're recognized a little bit in Japan, but how about in America?
日本でもですね、ちょっと有名なんだと思います。アメリカでも。そんなことない。
And so there was this great time for me of just taking in.
So is he recognized in Is he recognized in America back then or not? I don't know what he said.
All of the material, taking in movies, taking in video games, anime, art books, manga, comic books. I would just eat it all and it would go into here. It wasn't about showing it. It was about quite literally just absorbing it into my brain and loving it and living there and enjoying it so very, very much. What has ended up happening is, this is a fascinating thing. I started the show, and then I could have a show. And it was unbelievable that I could come in front of a camera and talk about some of the things that I love. All of this.
That's how I feel.
Stuff behind me. I could talk about video games. It was like, and I wasn't a great host, I'm not saying that to begin with, not at all. But I could do it finally. There was finally an outlet after, at that time, 34 years of no outlet. Just my friends and not that many friends who were into that video games I could talk to. It was like Rob and my friend Satan and a few other people that I could talk to like seriously about video games.
Yo, that's wild.
I could really like go off about it. And we did. We sat many nights just talking about video games.
That's wild, having a friend named Satan. Oh my gosh.
All night. That's all we would do. And the possibility of the future and what games are going to be like in the future. And so for the first time ever, I could talk in front of a camera about the stuff that I love. And it took me a long time to be able to articulate that love. But we finally got it. I feel like kind of got there a little bit.
I'm looking at the back right now. One thing that always pisses me off is, and wait, I'm supposed to be the happy console gamer. I'm not supposed to be all pissed off. But maybe it'd be more funny if I was at times.
And over the years, as I've had the show, and as I've been a big video game fan, still buying the latest releases, just because I loved it so much, that I was like, oh, you know what? I'm older now. I can kind of dip back into the past and buy some things that really mean something to me. And it's been fascinating to do that over the years.
Well, this is the game that changed my life.
Yep.
And why
See, I told y'all Phantasy Star is his favorite game.
do I do it? Do I do it just because I want to hoard a bunch of video games? No, not at all. For me...
That's funny that he mentioned that and I asked that question. I'll ask it once again. When is it hoarding and when is it collecting? Like, what's the distinction that we have? Or is it always just collecting? Also, is there such thing as digital hoarding? Like, especially, you know, downloading all these ROMs or buying all these games on Steam that we're never going to play. Let me know.
This is not a hoarding. This is a memory collection.
I agree with him. I'm just trying to see what you all think.
That's what this all is. So when I buy something like, say, Ys 3 here, The Wanderers from Ys, you know, boxed, still has the shrink wrap on it. Why? This old game, because it takes me back. It takes me back to the early 90s when I got this game and I got rid of the box back then. And now I can have it. And it reminds me of that Christmas when I got it in like 1991. And what a, you know, treasured Christmas that was with my parents and the people around me at the time. So I'm not just buying a video game in shrink wrap and it's like, oh, it's cool, it's worth something. Not about money. Not about money. I wish this was worth $5. Then I would have been a little bit nicer to buy. But I'm buying that memory that when I walk past the shelf, I see this and I'm like, oh, that Christmas. In fact, this Christmas, I walked into the games room and I picked this up and I sat there and I looked at the back and it was like it's hard to describe, almost like a teleporter through time and space back to this moment, and I could relive this moment again. And it was like intoxicating and it was wonderful and I really enjoyed it. And I was so happy that I had this in my collection because it takes me back to the past.
You haven't changed a bit.
Basically, I'm trying to buy my past in a lot of ways. To do with a lot of buying, if I buy retro stuff.
And that's the sad part about video games, man. And that's why I am so for game preservation and emulation and things like that. Because if you, let's say you're a movie buff, that's always going to be readily accessible for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been movies where, you know, you can no longer get them. But video games, it's like you got to have the original hardware. You got to have the right TV to be able to plug it in. It's just so many loops you got to jump through just to play freaking Rocky Rodent, you know?
For anything like that. Owning things like Magician Lord. Why do I own this? It's a giant cartridge. Because, and I got this for, I think it was like $25 when I got it back in the 90s. It was a great deal. Things weren't as expensive as they are now with collecting. And I bought this because it takes me back to the 90s of walking into an arcade and seeing the Neo Geo. And when I get this, I'm not joking, I'm going to do it. Oh, and all Neo Geo collectors know it. The smell within the clam case is just...
That's how you know you love something, when you just smelling it.
Just unbelievable. There's a certain plasticky smell that is the Neo Geo, and it is that time period.
Y'all remember when the Steam Deck first came out and Valve had to tell people stop smelling the vents?
And yeah, I go in a race back into the past, and I go and get to revisit some of these memories and some of these things that really matter to me. And you know, I like to buy a lot of anime art books and things still from that time because they remind me of that time. And I think what it is a lot of the time is that I kind of marvel at the John back then because there was nothing around him social media wise. He was just so into anime and video games and movies and comics that it wasn't even funny. It was an obsession, an absolute obsession, as it still is now. And now I can go and get some pieces from the past that kind of, you know, put together.
That's cool when you can be impressed by your younger self.
The puzzle, and I get to live there for little moments again.
The younger him will be so proud of him today. You know how, you know, some of us may look at our lives and when we were kids, we're like, oh my gosh, I never thought that I would be here. Like, this sucks. No, his younger self is like, dude, we did it.
And as I'm getting older, it's getting sweeter and sweeter. It was sweet when I was in grade 12, looking back on grade 8 playing Phantasy Star, but being 51, looking back at being 13 playing Phantasy Star is another level. There's also just another thing that I just love, the art. I will buy video games to capture art at the time. Even the art of something like Willow, and capturing a great game, a movie that came out back then, an RPG that we really loved. And me and Rob finished this a few years later. I think it was about 3 years ago, we finished this for the very first time. We just adored it, and it's capturing that time, and I think we all have that. We all have, it doesn't matter when you were born, when you grew up, and how old you are. Everybody, I think, has a little bit of love for the past and for those little moments that made us. And they are the moments that made us, and that I'm glad I did that segue, because all of these games are what made me who I am, and who I am is what kind of made these games what they are to me. Kind of a symbiotic relationship, and it's wonderful. And it's not just man goes and buys a bunch of games and stuff. You know, my mother never really understood my collecting because she never collected anything at all. She's just like, oh, John, you got a lot of stuff. And I was just like, yeah.
He had an episode where he had his mom on. Like, she seemed super cool.
But it's stuff that I love and stuff that is meaningful. It's stuff that's meaningful, and people can collect and do whatever they want their own way. Some people just will walk out and go, I want to buy a Sega Genesis collection complete, and I'll pay the money for that just so I have it because I like the Sega Genesis. That's completely valid. I'm just trying to explain why I have all of this stuff. And as I stated before, it's not about the monetary value of this stuff. Yes, is this stuff going up in value? Oh, absolutely. Do I like that? Sure. Do I want to sell it? No. This stuff means something to me quite a lot. Everything has a memory.
How much y'all think his collection worth?
And I'm going to pull out Earthbound here just for this. This is such a great memory. And I can't believe this game's turning like 30 years old.
That alone, that Earthbound alone, probably worth. I'm gonna look it up on eBay while we watching this.
This year, it's just insanity to me. When I hold this game in my hands, I'm not holding money. I'm holding my memory of when I was 21, sitting in my parents' basements, having a tall can of beer, having a cigarette, playing this game. It was on the screen, and just being so relaxed and chill. I'll never forget it. I was in this Zen mode, listening to the beautiful ambiance music of Earthbound, which I just adored the soundtrack of, just sitting there, and I took a moment.
Earthbound. I don't know if y'all can see this. It might be too blurry. Somebody got a pre-owned Earthbound for $300 that just sold. One sold for $341, and these don't even have a box.
This is funny. I took a moment to walk away from the experience, and I lived on the bottom floor. My parents lived on the top floor. I lived on the bottom floor, and so I could open my sliding window and be on the back garden right there. And it was a beautiful summer, and I opened up my window, and I was kind of sitting there drinking my beer, having a cigarette, just looking out, kind of enjoying the moonlight, and just kind of walking away from Earthbound and having another chill moment. And then all of a sudden, I heard this screaming and yelling with his mother and son over, across the my grass and the next house over, and they were having an argument, this mom and son, and she's yelling, going, "Take out the garbage," and he's like, "I don't want to take out the garbage." He said, "Fine," and I think he throws the garbage down and all this, and I remember, this is so weird of me, I remember just going, huh. I almost enjoyed the moment because I was so zen, and this weird moment had happened. I was having this nice relaxation thing. Meanwhile, other realities were going on with his family, with his son who did not want to take out the garbage. And so
That's funny.
Is why I love having my copy of Earthbound. That little moment and that little memory of Zen John that night, having his beer and his smoke, enjoying the game.
Yeah, that's dope. It's dope how there are things that we can take through life that make us think about other things. Like, for instance, this chair that I'm sitting in, this was my dad's gaming chair. My dad passed away, and now I sit in this chair and make these videos.
And seeing this absolutely strange thing happen off to the side. And it's moments like that that make me enjoy my collection and enjoy all my games. And here's another thing. I buy a lot of games. I buy a lot of games on Switch. And I'm like, I talk about them in New Game Stuff episodes, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to play this game. Do I get to all of these games? Not all of them, no. I know.
What's something that you take through life that you have a memory of?
But I aspire to. And I bought all those games.
Or it sparks a memory, rather.
Because they mean something. It's like, maybe it's a shooter. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to play the shooter. And meanwhile, I'm tackling all the big games of the year for the show. But that game is still there in my mind. And when I go through my Switch collection and I look at all my games, there's not one game there that I don't want to own. There's not one game there that doesn't mean something to me for some reason. And that's what I'm trying to explain to my daughter, is that all of this stuff means something. And so when me and her draw together, I talk about the art of things, and I say, oh, look at the art on this box, or look at this, and to show that there's some meaning behind it, not just that Daddy has a lot of video games, you know, like I remember we were in a store a little while ago and I was buying some Neo Geo CD games, and she was taking them up to the counter for me as I was picking out a few of them, and she's like, Daddy, you really love video games. And I said, yes, I do. And I was like laughing in the store with the owners, and we thought it was pretty funny. And as I said, this hobby is me. I am the hobby. It's really, really weird. Yes, I'm a human being who's married and has a wife and child who I adore above all of this stuff. But beyond that, below that is all of this other stuff, the love, the caring.
I'm glad that he put that into perspective. And see, that's unfortunately would give a lot of gamers a bad rap, right? Because this hobby is so awesome that unfortunately a lot of people put it above things, you know? And you can't put things above things that are important, right? Like, that's when things become idols in your life. You know what I mean? Like, it need to be like God, Jesus, family, loving others, and then video games. No, like making money, you know, to provide for those you care about, then video games.
For this hobby, it means so much to me. And it's not just the video games, it's also the anime, it's the art. It all comes together. It surrounds us. It's the force for me. It quite literally is. And it's been a pleasure. And all of this stuff is a pleasure. And also, if I come back, I've had a hard day or I've had some problems or something like that, my truck is broken down, I can walk in the games room and I get energy. And I get energy of all of this stuff. All of it. Maybe not NHL 94, that's not in the collection. But for some of you out there, it might be giving you some energy. For me, every game, every single piece, every single thing I own has a story. If you came over here today, we could walk around, you could pick out any item, I'd be like, yes, I got this because of this reason. Everything has a reason, and that's why I have all of this stuff, and why I continue to buy a lot of this stuff is because it means something, and it's deeply satisfying to me as a fan, and that's the main.
I wonder if hoarders feel the same way, though. You know, I wonder if it's, and I have family who are hoarders. You know, I wonder if they have such a deep connection to whatever it is they bought that because of that they struggle to let it go. You know, even though it looks like a piece of trash to the rest of us, is that why they struggle to just part ways with it, right?
Main thing that I am. I don't really.
And I'm not trying to knock him. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's one of my favorite YouTube channels. I'm just thinking about us collectors just in general.
really look at myself as a collector. Maybe I'll probably say that once in a while. But below it all is I'm a fan of it all, and it's been a pleasure to do and collect all of this stuff and get to play some of this stuff and watch this stuff. It's been really a lot of fun, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. That is for sure. So guys, let me know, why do you collect? Why do you own a lot of the stuff in your collection? Have you gone too far in a few places? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.
What I want y'all to let me know is, A, what it is that you collect outside of video games, and also, like I asked, when is it collecting and when is it hoarding? Let's go ahead to the next one.
No.
Angel Nut.
No.
This video is, do you remember when Nintendo wasn't cool anymore? It is by Gaming Off the Grid. I like that name.
This is not clickbait. It's a real question, and I think it impacts a lot of gamers. Do you remember when Nintendo wasn't cool anymore?
Yeah.
Light up the comment sections. Tell us your story. And where we're going with this is, I remember a pocket in my life, my journey through gaming, where Nintendo just wasn't cool enough for me anymore. Yeah. And it was that...
It was probably around the time like the PlayStation and the Xbox came out. I never really heard that in my circles, but I definitely could see where people would be coming from. You think of Mario, you think, oh, that's for babies, you know, versus, I mean, really, to be honest, Sega even had kind of got that started, right? When they had Sonic the Hedgehog just going up against Mario, and they're like, you know, Sega does what Nintendo don't, and Sonic just being a cooler mascot.
It was, for me, and I think it probably, you know, the barometer moves based off what era you grew up in, but for me, it was the GameCube.
Oh, yep.
I grew up with an NES, had a Super Nintendo, would have freaking done anything, and I did get an N64. And I knew all the other consoles were going on, but I was a Nintendo kid. And all of a sudden, when the GameCube came out, I was like, that thing's for freaking babies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have Grand Theft Auto on
Yeah,
it.
the PS2.
Screw Nintendo. I ain't playing that baby console. I'm moving on to the big boy stuff. And I just want to know, where were you at in your gaming journey? And, you know, for the channel here, where were you?
I wonder if the color of the GameCube had a lot to do with it. Just like that purple color. Did they have like black or gray GameCubes? Was that a thing? Like, let me know, or I'm about to look it up.
You at in your gaming journey?
Maybe I'm tripping.
When that happened, if that happened, there's going to maybe be some people that watch this and say, that never happened for me. I never turned too cool for school.
Yeah.
But I did, and I turned my back on the company for a long time.
Okay, so there were black GameCubes. I only remember purple ones. Maybe that's just because that's what I had.
I mean, I'm a Nintendo kid. I love Nintendo. I freaking play the Switch so much. The Switch 2 just got announced, which is super exciting. I know a lot of people are freaking out about it and doing videos about it. But it's just fun to look back at Nintendo because Nintendo's kind of done their own thing. And the games are cool. The exclusives are really cool. But I was born in '94, so I missed the NES. I missed the Super Nintendo. Just barely got into the N64. My first console I ever played, though, was the NES, but it was like way after it was out.
Well, and yeah, it was your mom's like stowed away console.
Exactly. So I never played a Super Nintendo when I was a kid. But if you were a little bit older, I could see how when the Super Nintendo was out, comparing with the Genesis, where if you were that age, you'd be like, man, the Genesis is cooler. Because the Genesis is more raw. There's actual blood in the Mortal Kombat games. It feels more edgy. It feels more teenager. And Super Nintendo, even though it's fantastic, did feel a little bit kiddier.
Yeah. Well, you know what's weird, you bringing that up, and this is...
That was like super smart and super dumb for Sega to promote themselves or market themselves as the cooler version of, you know, the cooler game system. But it was super smart, but it was also dumb because it was like you constantly putting yourself in competition with Nintendo instead of just being your own company.
This is why I think wherever you were in your, whatever generation you grew up in, it may have been a little bit of a different story, but I still think most gamers have a time in their life when Nintendo wasn't cool.
Yes, because then after that, it goes N64, comparing that with the Sega Saturn and the PS1, N64, I got one for Christmas. It was amazing, but I was a kid, and I played Episode 1 Pod Racers, and I played Shadows of the Empire.
That was my game right there. That Pod Racers, man, that might be my favorite N64 game.
And I played like those types of games, but on the Saturn, you get all these amazing games. On the freaking PS1, you're playing Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
Twisted
yeah.
Twisted Metal. You're playing.
Hey, on my AYN Odin 2, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid. That's literally, that and Tony Hawk is the main reason why I got the AYN Odin. But that is the part that I'm at right now in the game. That's so funny they showed that clip.
You're playing this edgy, cool stuff, and then you look over the N64, and
Said, what are you waiting for? Shoot!
it does have some edgy stuff. You got freaking the Zelda games. Those are Majora's Mask, pretty dark, pretty edgy, pretty cool. But then you got Super Mario 64, and it's like, what is this? Compared to Metal Gear Solid and all this stuff.
You brought up, kind of that teen angst of the Genesis thing. And I do want to point out, on the street that I grew up as a kid, there was a lot of older kids. And I had some female cousins that would come stay with me over the summers. Both pretty attractive ladies. So all the older kids.
I want to see where he's going with calling his female cousins pretty attractive ladies. It must be the neighbors were attracted to them.
Kids on my street wanted to hang out with this guy.
Okay.
Your family,
not because of me, but that group of people all had Sega Genesis.
Yep.
And this is in the early 90s.
So were they like skaters too?
Yes, they were.
That edgy alternative crew.
None of them had Super Nintendos. The people that had Super Nintendos was a little kid up the street that was a year or two younger than me. And then I got one a little bit later, actually way later. I got my Super Nintendo in like 1998. But I digress. The Genesis did seem like the big kid console, the edgy, cool thing.
It does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah,
Come
on.
I had a Sega Genesis. My neighbor across I had a Super Nintendo as a kid. Later on, I ended up getting a Sega Genesis when I went to my mom's house because my parents was divorced. My neighbor across the street, he had a Sega Genesis with Sega Channel. Do y'all remember Sega Channel? Man, what? I probably need to do a video about Sega Channel. Well, I don't remember it enough to like do my own video, but I want to react to a video about Sega Channel. And my neighbor down the street, his name is Zach. He got Killed. But he had a Sega Genesis, and we used to always play Sonic. And I remember that he had Ringworm when we were playing Sonic. That's what I remember.
Duh, come on. But
yeah, the Genesis was so
rest in peace, Zach.
Cool. But in my journey, so the next console up, talked about the N64, Super Nintendo, would be the GameCube, and this is the era when PS2 was probably the biggest console I played my entire life. I played it. I got the fat model, the slim model. I played it nonstop. Gen 6 was my generation of video games, and I remember when the GameCube came out, I was in that era where I was like, that doesn't look cool. I was like, I have a PS2. I can play Grand Theft Auto 3. I can play Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I can play all these amazing games, plus the backwards compatibility with the PS1 games. Plus it plays movies. Plus it plays CDs. All this stuff. And then people had a GameCube, and you need to buy these dumb discs. And then you had...
Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo was thinking about the CDs. Like, it took you guys forever to finally switch from cartridges. And then you switch to these little mini CDs? What the heck?
Sunshine. And then it's just like... I'd rather shoot someone in the head than be Mario with a water path. But going back though, there was one person I knew that had a GameCube, and it was fun because we played like Super Mario Strikers and stuff. But I still was like, man, the PS2 is king. That's the era where I was like, oh, this kind of does feel like it's for kids, or it's not cool.
Very fascinating that you thought the same thing, and you're about 8 years younger than I am, because. As much as I do love the GameCube now, and I did miss out on a ton of great games, during that time, gun to my head, I would not trade my PS2 for a GameCube under any circumstance.
I don't know if I'd do that today.
Yeah, it was. So it does speak to how good the PS2 is. But I also think that there was something in that time frame for me where
Sony killed the game. putting that DVD player on the console. That was probably one of the smartest decisions in video game console history. That I don't think if you didn't live back then, you didn't know about DVDs. I don't think you knew how big of a decision that was. Like they're the ones who started all of that. That was a very wise move, especially because you're not just getting a DVD player, you're getting a Sony DVD player, so it's gonna be a good one at that.
The Nintendo art style that we know today kind of came to fruition.
Yes.
You know, the way Mario looked in Mario 64, but then it was really, really evident what he was going to look like going forward and what Luigi was going to look like going forward.
Real 3D.
Yeah, and it was, you know, very cartoony, very Disney-esque, very, you know, you watch the new Mario movie, right? And then you go back and look at the sprite work on the GameCube, and it's like, we haven't really evolved past it. And I was used to the blocky 8-bit chunky stuff, and I never really thought in my brain, I didn't know if Mario was going to look like that. Was he going to be looking like the old hairy guy on the cartoon show? Or the way they looked in the movie?
Oh, yeah, the original movie.
My kids be watching the cartoon. I be showing, my kids be watching this. And yo, this movie with John Leguizamo, I can never pronounce his last name. But yo, this is a good movie.
Or the way they looked in the movie?
Oh, yeah, the original movie?
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody gotta say. That movie is my guilty pleasure. It don't make no sense. I know it was a bunch of behind the scenes drama and all that. That movie is a classic.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, this just isn't as
I don't care if it doesn't make sense.
cool. And I have a brother that's quite a bit younger than me, and he loved it. He
Yes.
was eating it up. He loved the GameCube. So I did
Oh,
get to
the
dabble
game.
with some of the
I
games.
thought you meant the movie.
But dude, Luigi's Mansion, as great as it is,
yeah, as a launch title. Like,
I'm over here playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and Vice City and that type
Yeah.
of thing. Like it just wasn't there for me.
No, it just felt like so kiddie and not cool. And even then, I was not even a Microsoft kid or an Xbox kid, but the Xbox was out too, so it's like, damn, you got PS2 that's kicking ass, you got Xbox that's coming out with Halo and all this stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And especially if you're a teenage boy, you're like, I want to be playing first-person shooters.
And you think about your friends, you're like, dude, no offense, but like, they're all playing Halo over there. Like, and you want me to come over and just hang out with you and play Strikers?
We did it like a few times.
Yeah, but it's like, I think I'm going to the Halo party.
I think I'm going to the LAN party.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fun. And then the next generation, when the Wii came out, I think the Wii is a big turning point for a lot of people, because that's when it's like, oh my gosh, it's motion first off, and real gamers hated that at first.
Yep.
And then a lot of the games, like Galaxy, it's a great game, but still, it's kind of kiddie. It's kind of like not cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's a fantastic game, it's just this weird mechanic and all this stuff, and you get all these motion games. And then like a big thing for the Wii was like Wii Fit. So then it was like, oh, this is being marketed to like moms.
Yeah.
This is being marketed to like
it was
families, and it's not being marketed to angsty teens.
Yeah, and I was that was my college years when that came out. And I remember thinking like, total gimmick, motion controls. Nope, not all about it. But I did buy one, and I did like some things about it. There were some games I did like.
There are good games on it,
but again, it was nowhere near the level of.
Right now, me and my daughter are playing through what's that? It's like it's a rabbits game. It's the one where they're trying to get back to outer space, so they got to collect a bunch of trash and pile it on top just to go to the moon. We playing that on Wii. It's been a little minute since we played it, but that's what we're trying to work through.
Excitement that I had towards the PS3 and the 360.
Yeah, and that's when online gaming was boom.
It was like, yeah, I bought Punch-Out day one for the Wii, but after I played that, I was just I didn't want a Wii Bowl. I didn't want to. I had done the Mario Kart thing.
Yeah,
and then the red new Super Mario Brothers, the red Mario.
That's because hardcore gamers are really trying to sit down and chill. Like they trying to sit down and relax. They're not trying to get off work and be doing all of this and all that. You know, imagine you just work a factory job and now you come in, you know, you like, ain't nobody trying to do that. People trying to chill.
I had done that. So even when that came out, I wasn't even excited. I was more excited for Galaxy because this is cool. This is new.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't need another side-scrolling Mario. I'm going to go over here and do this new
Well, yeah, you're
cool
like,
thing.
you're like, oh, I could play Galaxy, and it's a great game on its own, or I could play Gears of War.
Yeah.
And it's just like, with a chainsaw. Like, you're like, okay, this is way cooler. And then, like, the boom of online gaming, the first-person shooters, again, you're playing Call of Duty, you're playing, it's fantastic. The Wii is good, and it's fun to go back to and all this stuff, but it's still, that was a big era where it's, like, not cool. And then the Wii U, I love it, but that failed, even though there was cool things on it. I think the Switch is, like, the first console where it was like, oh, it's cool again. Even though I love all Nintendo consoles, but, like, it felt cool again.
The Wii U, I knew what it was. I wasn't confused like a lot of people were, but that was, like, coming out. So I'm getting out of college. I take on my first big boy job. Somehow I navigated my way through this interview, and I take this job, and I'm over my skis. Like, I shouldn't be there. Like, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm working long hours, figuring this stuff out, reading, and the Wii U just kind of was a thing. Just kind of, and then by the time I got my feet and my traction and my career and all this stuff, the Wii U was done.
And you're just like, what? That happened so fast.
But I think for most people, and I'll self-admit, I was wrong on a lot of that thinking. I missed out on a ton of cool Nintendo IPs over the years.
But
I did not have a Wii U. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'll be honest with y'all. I didn't even know the Wii U was a thing for real. Like, I went over my friend Rob's house and his son had one, and I think that I was just one of the people who just thought that it was like just not a gimmick, not even another console, but just like an accessory to a Wii.
Think from what the consoles were competing with in that era and the different types of games they had. If you were a teenager, you leaned towards the PS2, you leaned towards the Xbox 360, you leaned towards all this stuff because it was kind of marketed for that generation, that type of people.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo was just the family console.
Yeah, yeah. And the weird part of it is, though, they like get their hooks into us when we're kids. And they send us off to college.
Yeah. They say, you'll be back.
You know, in our teen years, even in college. And they're like, go have fun. You'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be coming back.
And we always, I think most gamers, not all, we always do come back. Yeah. And here we are. Switch 2's announced. We were just talking before we started filming this video. We're both just jazzed, ready to go. Like, oh, dude, what do you think the day one games are going to be? All this stuff. And here I am approaching 40 and the biggest Nintendo fan that I've ever been in my entire life. And Sony and Microsoft, I'm just kind of like, because the stuff that I thought was cool and drew me away from Nintendo has become so homogenized and regurgitated that I don't really care about Black Ops 6. Now, Black Ops 1 and 2 took me away.
And I'm sure the games are great, but I'm just like, God, there's a...
It's because these games that are coming out now, like all of the different Call of Duties and stuff, I don't even play Call of Duty, to be honest. But, like, they're just so formulaic. They're just kind of pumping out the same game with a new number. But with a new Nintendo game, you're like, okay, what innovation is there going to be? Think about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, you just know that you're going to see something that you may not have ever seen before. That doesn't mean it's going to be good, but you're going to see something original.
Sixth one? It's like, it's too much.
And then all the while, Nintendo's like, I got another Mario game for you here, Mr. 37, 38, Mr. 40-year-old, Mario Wonder.
And you're just like...
a spin on something that...
And you're just like, this game is amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap, I love Nintendo. Nintendo's so cool. It's such a weird thing, and I feel like most gamers that played a lot of different consoles from different generations... It all went through the same type of thing, and I'm curious to hear everyone's stories. Curious to hear everything, because it all depends on when you grew up. Could have been Super Nintendo, could have been the Wii, I wonder if it's the Switch for some people. Like if you're a younger kid and you're like, man, I'd rather play PS4. I'd rather play like that. That'd be wild.
I'm sure there is some kid out there that is saying well, I mean, I understand what the Switch is, but Steam Deck's where it's at.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just had a whole video where people were trying to take my head off in the comments. And all I did was I did not take the stance that the Switch is better than the Steam Deck. Duh. But people love the Steam Deck so much that they couldn't even hear an argument as to why there may be a person who likes the Switch more than the Steam Deck. That's not what I was saying. But yeah, there's definitely a kid out there like that.
That doesn't seem cool.
But you're going to
They were in my comments.
get to a point, kid, that we'll probably never see this video because our analytics are all our age and older.
Or older, yeah.
But you will get to a point, I think, that you realize you missed a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
There was actually really good quality stuff and very innovative stuff.
Every generation of Nintendo stuff is just like, whoa, this is really cool and different.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's just a weird
That's kind of what I was saying.
thing to talk about because
it's very fascinating.
Every time Nintendo gets a new console, there's all this hype, and I watch like the people making the videos on that, and we don't really chase the trends. You know, we have no reaction, video for the Switch 2, but it's fascinating that I'm like, do you really love Nintendo that much? How about we talk about a time when you didn't, and you turned your back on the company because you were too cool, dude? Because I did it, and I'm a huge Nintendo fan.
It's so wild, but it's kind of wild that we have the same answer 8 years apart.
Yeah.
But I just think that's what it was. Even though, like, the GameCube, and the GameCube controller is one of my favorite controllers of all time.
Yeah.
I love, like, going back and playing the games on it. Strikers is one of my favorite arcade games. Like, there's so many amazing things on the GameCube. But in that era, I was too busy playing the Pong games, playing Grand Theft Auto, playing all this other stuff.
It's fascinating, the power of the PS2.
Oh, dude.
And I'm not talking about what was under the hood. I'm just talking about
what it did.
The market.
There was never really a time that I necessarily turned my back on Nintendo because I pretty much always have had some Nintendo console. I've also had another console, that I probably played more. Like I definitely played my PlayStation more than my N64. But I did still play the N64. I think the time where I most turned my back on Nintendo is kind of during the just handheld Mario games. Like at one point they were just so formulaic and boring, like blah, bland. That was like the worst.
Domination of that console. Yeah.
I was the perfect age for it because it changed my life.
Well, I mean, I never really even thought about. I mean, I have thought about it, but in your instance, you're however many years younger, and if you go GameCube instead of PS2, you no longer have a DVD player in your room.
Yep.
A CD player in your room.
Yeah.
Like,
you lose a lot of stuff.
That's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah, especially at that age, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a big deal to be able to get all that stuff and be able to that was the first time it was like, this is a home entertainment system. Which is what I've been using PlayStation for ever since. Is being able to watch DVDs and being able to do all that kind of stuff, stream on it now. And Nintendo's like, no, we ain't gonna do that, but you'll still buy it.
Yeah,
you'll still buy it.
You come around.
Yeah.
And then when you want to come around,
it's crazy. They don't even have Netflix app on the Switch.
Be the most highly collectible consoles from the generation.
And you're like, damn it.
Good luck, because every decent game is going to be, $30 and higher. But anyway, goddamn Nintendo. I tell you what.
Such a fascinating topic. Yeah. But before we go, we got to talk about this beer that we're sipping on.
All right. That's what's up. That was what's up. That's a good video. Once again, that is by Gaming Off the Grid. All right, let's go ahead to the next one.
Big triple 24
Angel Knot
comes to.
All right. So this is why now is the golden age of retro gaming. All right, let's go ahead and check it out.
Close, I definitely realized something, that a lot of these big AAA games that came out this past year just didn't really resonate with me. Now, sure, there's exceptions to the rule. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a great way to end off 2024 with arguably the best game that I've played this year. Presentation, gameplay, everything from top to bottom is just absolutely top-notch, and I've been having an absolute joy playing this game. Before that, we had Batman VR, which was my game of the year.
It's so funny how
playing this.
if you watch RDT 85, I know who this is, but I could not think of his name just because it's so late at night. But he always says, "I am not a Nintendo YouTuber." And he's wearing this huge Nintendo 64 hoodie. That's hilarious. Is he trolling?
This game. Before that, we had Batman VR, which was my game of the year. Familiar, but felt fresh because of the fact that you had the VR controls. And Astrobot was a really good 3D platformer. But games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't really hit all that well with me. A little too much padding. Star Wars Outlaws just wasn't a good game. And because of that, I found myself playing a lot of retro games this past year. Obviously, N64 has been in the forefront of my mind by writing the Art of N64 Wrestling.
I feel like indie games are like carrying the video game industry now.
Games book available on Amazon right now, link in the description box down below. But I've definitely been enjoying a lot of retro games, and as I sort of sit back and think about it, I realize something. This is the golden era of retro video games. We have it so good right now, and I feel like not enough people fully realize this. I know MVG made a video similar to this on Monday. Maybe it was a little bit of an inspiration, but he's a bald Englishman. I am an Italian man that is not bald, but my hair is very nappy. But I want to talk about just how good retro gaming is right now, and all the
I don't know if I've ever heard a white person call their hair nappy.
benefits of it and all the different ways that we can experience this. Because if we're talking about you only have the latest and greatest consoles, the Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series system, you still have a wealth of options available to you. Nintendo Switch, of course, has the Nintendo Switch Online program that offers games from the NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and the Nintendo 64. Now, yes, I do prefer the old virtual console style because you had a little bit more freedom in there, but I do think that the emulation
And you actually own the games.
being used on the Nintendo Switch Online is definitely a bit improved over what we saw on the Wii U. And more importantly, Nintendo seems to be taking it a little more seriously, as they did fix some problematic issues that popped up in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And there is the availability to play these games online as well with your friends. So although it is clunky and sometimes it doesn't work all that well, it is a nice option to have. Over on the PlayStation, you of course have the PlayStation Network, which has a wealth of different titles ranging from the PS1 to the PS4 era that you can play. You can download these games, buy these games, play them via a subscription service, use the cloud for PlayStation 3 games, but the variety seems to be growing and growing. Same thing with Xbox. You have a bunch of original Xbox games and Xbox 360 games, either on Game Pass or where you could purchase them, and these games are all enhanced. They have better visuals, they have better frame rates than the original versions of the game did. But beyond that, you have more stuff. You could buy individual arcade-related games and different compilations that have come out for all of these systems, ranging from Atari to Sega, with the obviously Sega pulled the Genesis Classics collection, but at one time you could buy that. But then you even have stuff like Antstream that's available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, which gives you over 1,400 more retro games with online leaderboards and competitions and stuff like that. And they're constantly adding in more games, and it's not that expensive to get into the Antstream system. So I think people just don't necessarily look at their modern stuff and realize just how much retro that you can actually do on these systems. Yes, there's not a traditional backwards compatibility, but you could play a good variety of stuff on these systems and sometimes get them in enhanced formats that you couldn't get on the original hardware. I think it's a very important thing, and it's something that I hope continues to grow so that there is more variety, that there are more games, because there should be more stuff that is available on these platforms. And then, of course, you have emulation and all the achievements that have been done with emulation. Just a few years ago, the talks about PS3 or Xbox 360 emulation seemed like absolute hogwash. Like, how are we going to be able to do that? Those systems...
Right, I remember I put, I'm going to let him finish this sentence. And then
have weird architecture, who knows? But then you have emulators like RCPS3 and Xenia for...
I remember I was in a Facebook group a few years back, and I had just gotten into retro handhelds and stuff, and I was like, yo, is there any retro handhelds that can play PS2? People were killing me in the comments, just cracking up laughing like, dude, no. Now it's like it's nothing.
For the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 respectively that are emulating a lot of the games. And in the case of the PlayStation 3, we're getting crazy levels of compatibility and even enhancements in these games. And as these emulators continue to grow, it's not like we get to a point where they're necessarily satisfied with the emulator. All these people that are diehard retro gaming fans are trying to push the medium of emulation and push what you can do on limited hardware as well. You don't need a crazy rig to run a lot of PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 games. And with every major update to these emulators, the entry bar gets lower and lower and lower. And we're seeing fantastic results. I mean, you can upscale 5 times, 6 times, 8 times PlayStation 2 games on pretty much anything. And these games look absolutely gorgeous. As that level of entry barrier gets lower and lower for a system specification, I think it kind of opens the doors a bit more into people getting involved into emulation. And then, of course, you have all the mini PCs. Look at all the different mini PCs I've covered on.
I was just looking at mini PCs today. I had got a Ken Hank hard drive. I had got the console. I can't even think of what it's called, but I was having some issues with that. Not on their part, but on my part. Like I dropped that thing. Oh my gosh! And so I got to figure out a new solution. Let me know if you got any ideas.
On this channel, I think the most expensive one was like $400, and I'm playing PlayStation 3, Nintendo Switch, Xbox 360 games on these mini PCs. That
I did like my bad. I did like a whole video, like an unboxing and everything, and I can't even give a full true impression. So I'm probably not even gonna release the video.
Shouldn't be able to do that, but because of the optimization of the emulators themselves, we've come a very, very long way in a very short period of time. And hell, you've even got PS4 emulations starting to creep up in places now. And with Shad's PS4, which is the new PS4 emulator that's out there, I think the sky's the limit. I would expect by the end of 2025 that there's going to be quite a few games that you can play through and complete via Shad's PS4 emulator, emulating PlayStation 4 on your rig. But that's just kind of one side of retro gaming, because we have a whole nother side when it comes to it, and that's people who don't want to mess with emulators. They don't want to mess with setting up stuff, even though it is very easy nowadays, and there are hard drives preloaded with all the games and ROMs and stuff like that. They don't want to mess with a computer. They want a handheld. They want a console. They want something that's tangible in their hand that feels familiar but does better things. Well, we're in the golden era of that as well.
Yeah,
look at
absolutely.
all the emulation handhelds that come out all the time from companies like Anbernic. It seems like every week a revision for an Anbernic product comes out. And yes, sometimes those revisions aren't necessarily needed, but there's so many different companies out there like Anbernic, like Retroid, that are making these handheld emulation devices where the power of these things, the things that you're able to do with them at a low price point that come preloaded, are just absolutely amazing. We really have to thank China for being the kings of emulation, because they're the ones keeping emulation in such good spirits right now. We're seeing all these ROM and emulator websites go down, it seems like, every single day. But in China, where there is no copyright laws with stuff like this, they don't care. They're just loading up these hard drives, loading up these handhelds, loading up all these different things.
I don't know if I knew that. I don't know if I knew that there weren't these types of laws in China. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I might be dumb for not knowing that.
And you are
hit like if I'm dumb.
reaping the rewards of these things. You could buy a $100 handheld off of Amazon that comes with like PS2 and GameCube games, Dreamcast and stuff, and right then and there, you're right in with the retro gaming scene. Let's say you want something a little bit different though. You want a console that you can play on your HD television, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Now, your options are a bit more limited when it comes to things like that, but there are things like the NES, the SNES Classic, the PS1 Classic, of course, you have the Genesis Classic as well. There are classic systems out there, but the more interesting ones are these knockoff systems that you end up seeing that come preloaded with a bunch of other games and stuff. Let's say you have a cartridge collection or a disc collection of something. There are options for you too. There are various clone consoles out there, whether you're talking about the high dollar ones from companies like Analog or the budget entry price points of stuff like Hyperkin consoles. You can play a lot of different consoles on these devices. You want to play SNES, Genesis, and NES games? There's a console out there for you, either by Hyperkin or Retrobit. Retails for about 80 bucks. You plug it in, you stick a cartridge in, and then bam, you're playing these games. Now, the emulation might be a little bit off, and the colors might not be as good as you once remembered them, but I feel like if you're getting in at that price point, you're not necessarily worried about things like that. You obviously know what you're getting.
I mean, the colors are probably better. I mean, let's be real. We're playing on like HD TVs, versus like a CRT. I know that's some of you all think it's blasphemy saying that, but I'm just saying, like, objectively speaking, it's better technology, even though that may have been a more fun way to play it. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all go kill me in the comments. I don't care.
And people that buy those things are definitely more impulse buys than diehard retro gaming fans. But still, like, it's still being able to play retro games on your modern television, which is something that everyone wants and something everyone always thinks is something too big to handle, something even larger. But okay, let's say you are the diehard, all right? I only want to play original hardware with original controllers that are originally from the original system, and like that's
You finna spend some real money.
your mantra. You're covered there too. The amount of things that have been done in the retro gaming scene is absolutely astronomical. Things like N64 HDMI mods. Look at my video comparing a $200 modded N64 system to a $700 one, and tell me the differences between them. Tell me. Because aside from having more options that you can sort of fine dial in to your television screen, the $200 one absolutely kills it. There are so many HDMI mods for various systems that allow you to do things, and there are companies out there that will do the modifications for you. You send in your system, and they will send it back to you with an HDMI modification. You want to be able to play the full library of games? You've got EverDrives. Look at the EverDrive 64. I absolutely love that thing. Being able to play ROM hacks on my original Nintendo 64 that's HDMI modded out with an N64 controller is just absolutely fantastic. Even Saturn users are living really well right now with Saru, which is a cartridge that you plug into your Sega Saturn that I actually have, and I need to make a video on it. But you plug this cartridge into your Sega Saturn's cartridge slot, and then it plays the games. You don't have to worry about the disc anymore. The loading is extremely
That's dope. I didn't know that existed.
fast, and it's exact perfect emulation on your Sega Saturn. It's emulating the software, not the hardware of the Sega Saturn, and it's absolutely perfect and a fraction of the price of Sega Saturn games. Of course, you have different controller options as well. Maybe you want a N64 style controller, but you want something that's a little bit more comfortable. There's tons of companies making stuff, ranging from Hyperkin and their cheaper entry price points to stuff like Retro Fighters, which make great controllers for the Nintendo 64. You get wireless Saturn controllers, wireless PS1 controllers, whatever you want. And that's the thing. That's the beauty right now. Because these prices for these kinds of games here, crazy. Absolutely ridiculous prices. But you don't have to pay them. You could buy a reproduction cartridge of N64 or Sega Saturn games and get the exact same experience. Same thing with your Earthbounds and your Chrono Triggers. You don't want to pay the full price? Buy a reproduction cartridge. This whole retro gaming market is going to implode on itself one day. And I don't think that's necessarily, the end of the world with it. People.
That's what I might do with Game Boy, is get the reproduction cartridges. I don't know. I was thinking, should I get because I want to get a modded Game Boy. I have a regular Game Boy. But I think I want to get a modded one. But I do not want to pay the prices that they are charging for Game Boy games these days on eBay. It's ridiculous. So maybe I'll get the reproduction. I was thinking about just getting the one that, I can't remember what it's called, but basically you put the SD card in. Let me know what y'all think if y'all have any experience with either of those.
People are going to pay what they want to pay. And there will always be people who do want the authentic experience and who do want the original thing. But if you're not one of those people and you don't mind, you don't have a CRT TV laying around so that you could play it, or a PVM monitor or something like that, you have so many options at your fingertips. Like, it's never been better. It's never been better. And I think as time goes on, it'll continue to get better as well. As emulators become more advanced, as PC prices come down, and, more companies get involved in this sphere, there's a lot of money to be made in this sphere. And unfortunately, sometimes you get some bad apples that try and cash in on nostalgia. Television Amico, Tommy. But for the most part, like, companies understand that they're going to get feedback. Companies understand that they'll live and die by their first product into the marketplace. And I think that's a good thing. Retro gaming is a beautiful thing. And although there's a lot of snobs in the community and a lot of sort of people within it, the average person isn't like that. You know what I'm saying? The average person is cool. And the average person understands that,
If somebody's getting into a hobby, do not be one of those gatekeepers, okay? You guys are so lame. Like, if somebody has, like, a genuine question, don't make people feel stupid. Like how I mentioned earlier, how people made me feel stupid about asking about PlayStation 2 on emulators. Like, just answer the freaking question. Be thankful that somebody's coming into the hobby.
An RGB modded system on a CRT or PVM system is an ideal way to play it. But there's also cheaper options, and there's other options for people that just want to play some games, that don't necessarily care about replicating the complete authentic experience. They just want to experience some of the games from their past. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I talked a lot longer than I thought I was going to talk, but I feel like there's a lot of different things to say with this. And I think we are in the golden era of retro gaming, and I think people need to appreciate it a little bit more. It's never been as easy as it is right now in this moment to play a lot of retro games. I didn't even mention stuff like, I'm looking over here at my Evercade, the Evercade Versus system, which is a system that plays Evercade cartridges, and they're doing stuff like Legacy of Kain. They're doing stuff.
Is that what I'm thinking? No, that's not the Evercade. What is the thing called? I cannot remember right now.
Like Tomb Raider collections. They're doing stuff like Duke Nukem. And
no,
it's awesome.
I know what the Evercade is.
It's a cheap console with cheap around $20 cartridges that you can play on your HD television. The options, my friends, are endless. And all that matters at the end of the day is that you're enjoying the games. I don't care how you play them. You want to emulate, you want to pirate, you want to do this, that, or the other. As long as you're enjoying video game history, that's all that really matters to me. Let me know in the comment section down below, though. What do you think about?
Yo, that's what's up. Hey, RGT, he was cooking. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely cooking.
Angel Knot.
Yo, so I appreciate the 3 people who are tuning in right now. Shout outs to you guys. Yo, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I gotta use the restroom. I've been live for 2 hours and 42 minutes. I gotta use the restroom. If y'all stick around, that would be amazing. You feel me? I'm going to still go ahead and play the video for you guys. But don't drop off, okay? I will be right back. I cannot hold it any longer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the next video playing for you, though.
About this. It's a well.
So there was this.
Oh, man. Oh, dang. Is this the one? I really wanted to be around for this. Hold on. I might have to skip and then come back to this one.
Subscribe and.
Hello, guys.
All right, this is Some Ordinary Gamers, okay? And this video is the video game industry needs to crash. All right, I will be right back.
Gals, me Mudahar, and I personally think video gaming should have a little bit of a crash based on some of the stuff that I've read. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of assumptions. GTA 6 might cost $100. Analysts think it's a bad idea. Now, you don't need to be a genius to remind people that charging up video games is not something the audience or the gaming public is necessarily excited about. But to give you an idea, I'm not really all that shocked. I was looking at this IGN poll, which is not like super duper shocking, okay? It's not scientific material. I think out of like a few thousand or several thousand voters, at least 30% were like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to pay some more, with a few percent left going, we'll see on the trailer. But at the end of the day, all right, AAA gaming is in this kind of weird spot where I feel like most people are just buying cash shops for the most part. Like if you're a sports gamer and you buy like Madden every year, God forbid, NBA every year, God forbid, you're probably also buying a storefront where you put the game in, install it, patch it, whatever, and then on top of the $60 you already spent or $70, whatever, you might be enticed to buy some microtransactions. So it's always weird to me when I see just how much AAA gaming tries to nickel and dime its audience to the point where I am physically disgusted sometimes where like, you know, you buy a game for 60, 70 bucks and it's like, whoa, you want me to spend more on top of it for what? Like skins? But that's the world we live in and it's kind of normalized. Now to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, 100 USD to at least my Canadian currency is $143.75 as of right now. Now, to give you an idea, that's a lot of money, okay? But that's not all you're paying, all right? So if I go to the Canada sales tax calculator, which I think is also important, you shouldn't just look at the base price. If I take that $143.75 and I decide, yeah, I'm going to throw that into my province, calculate it, not only do I have to pay like $7.19 federal, I have to pay $11.50 provincial. All that comes up to $162.44. Now, if you think the average person, heck, even somebody that's well off is going to think, yeah, that new game, yeah, it's worth paying $162 for, you're fucking insane. Now, I know there's a lot of defenses out here, but Muda, what if you put 100 hours into a game? Think about the price to hour ratio. There's very few games that I think people are putting 100 hours into. Maybe something like Monster Hunter, maybe something like Cyberpunk, games that come once in a while. And you might be like, well, wouldn't GTA 6 be worth $100, Mood? I mean, you're clearly excited for it, and it's going to be a generational defining game, which, again, mind you, I don't jump into the hype cycle, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that GTA 6 is going to be a win right off the bat. But the thing about it is like, if GTA 6 is priced to $100, the biggest...
Yo, y'all stuck around. I really appreciate y'all for that. Like, for real, for real. As a small YouTuber, like, and just getting started, I get so excited seeing people watching the videos. And so, like, 3 people watching the videos, I'm like, oh, that's so dope. Praise God, you know. And I didn't want to go to the restroom because I didn't want you guys to leave. So I'm thankful that you stuck around. I appreciate it.
Fear that people have is, whoa, other game companies might think, oh shit, I might price to $100 as well too. If Rockstar's doing it, I might. So if one company makes a great game that may be worth that money, or that price tag, all of a sudden you've got all the fucking Ubisofts and the Activisions considering to also price the same. Could you imagine paying $162 Canadian, by the way? I'm just speaking to the Canadian audience here. For Call of Duty, a game that's already in a death spiral right now? No, okay? $162? You fucking insane? Then you come home, you patch the game, you install it, you run it, and it's like, oh wait, hold on, you want to spend like $34 on the Black Cell bundle? Are you out of your mind? It's like you buy a game and then you realize, well, it wants me to spend about as much as I'm spending on like the base console that I'm playing this on, for crying out loud. No, that's not a world that's normal. And if anybody talks about a gaming crash, that's literally it. Now, I don't think gaming is going to crash like it did back in the 80s, you know, where like everyone was flooding the market with like cheap ripoffs of everyone's games. No. I think the gaming industry may crash in the AAA sense because people will realize I'm not paying that money. I'm not paying $162. So the big budgets that have been bloated up in these entire companies, which, by the way, is, in my opinion, probably a bit of mismanagement if we really had to audit their books. Ooh, hold on, I'm getting a call. I think it's Rockstar. Oh, hold on. Sorry, that was my lawyer contacting me, telling me I should shut my goddamn mouth before any of these companies send their hitmen after me. But you know what? This is where I'm going to tell legal to go fuck themselves, because the gaming community, because the AAA gaming manufacturers love to fuck their budgets and me. See, the thing is,
gosh.
I feel like there's a lot of mismanagement of money there. And, you know, with the amount of layoffs that happen, like, you could make a game of the goddamn.
I wish I heard the beginning of what he was saying so I can have more context. But I know he's talking about Grand Theft Auto saying that they want to charge $100 for the game. Now, this might be a hot take. Nobody's going to like that I say this. But I kind of see where they're coming from, right? And I know this is an unpopular opinion. The 3 people watching this might leave now. But the reason why I say that is because the amount of time that people invest into Grand Theft Auto, the fact that people have made careers playing Grand Theft Auto and have their own servers, the amount of time and replay value that a Grand Theft Auto game has, I think that, and the quality of the next Grand Theft Auto. I don't play Grand Theft Auto, but I used to play Grand Theft Auto in the past. The amount, how good the quality looks, and also the money they're probably trying to also recoup. I can see why they would charge $100. Now, I don't think that every game can say that. I don't think that every game has the replay value that a Grand Theft Auto is going to have. And I know it's a hot take, and I know it's crazy for a gamer to be saying that, but I'm just saying, like, from a business aspect, I totally understand why they decided to do that.
And somehow find yourself laid off.
And they're just saying, yo, this game is so good, like it's $100. They low key, they pulling a Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle, when he charged $100 for his album, you know, that's kind of what they do in our game, or with their game.
I have no sympathy to any of the ballooning game budgets. I really think if nobody is purchasing their games, and of course their budgets keep going up, that's the crash on that end. But there's plenty of independent games that are in the industry right now as we're speaking. Like, there's tons of games you'll find on Steam or even on the consoles for like $20 that probably are worth more of your hours spent and for a more respectful price. I don't ever think the independent games market is going to die. But I think that AAA gaming industry may need to start looking into AA games or fixing its like budget problems. But we're kind of...
What makes a game AAA and what makes a game AA? It sounds like we talking about batteries. Like, I know a AAA game is like one that's from a studio that, you know, has a lot of money and stuff. But what makes a game a AA game? That's more of the question that I'm wondering. Let me know in the comments.
Kind of jumping beyond the veil over here. When it comes to a lot of these games, a lot of this information has sort of come out from one of this like research papers, so this presentation from Epillion, okay, where it's a 223 page like actual like research paper. And the thing is, it's like, this is not an actual bad like research. They actually go into a lot of aspects of gaming in the economy of gaming itself, right? Like, they touch upon other countries like China. They touch upon the mobile gaming storefront. They touch upon things like the GPU shortage. They touch upon things like the pandemic, for instance, and the effect it's had on gaming. And the reality is, a lot of the gaming industry, apparently, according to this, and a rumor is that the actual like big wigs in the entire space hope that if Rockstar is producing a $100 game, everyone can just sneak up their prices to that point. Which I really personally don't think it's actually going to fly. Like, yes, games have gotten more expensive, right? Like, games used to be a flat $60, and with the start of the PS4 generation, they jumped to like $70.
Man, games, I remember PlayStation 1, I feel like games were like $49.99. I feel like that was the common price. Well, he's also Canadian, I think. I think he said he was Canadian, so his game's probably just always been a little bit higher.
Then $80. But if they jump to like $100 and it really feels like the quality of the game is not matching that $100 across the board, that's what I think will cause the crash. Do you honestly believe that GTA 6 will be equivalent to every year's Call of Duty or every year's 2K or whatever? But the thing is, the gaming market, the problem is, like, I have complained about shitty gaming practices, but the reality is, like, there's a whole chunk of gamers that obviously are not watching this video, or they're not even on YouTube. They're just people that play video games. And the gaming industry for the last like year has kind of been like toying with them a little bit. Like, hey, you guys want to play a game like 4 days earlier? buy the gold edition for like $20 more. Like, it's actually a serious practice that's been occurring, and you've probably noticed it with some pretty big budget games. So literally for 4 days early access, which might be worth it for some people, people are throwing an extra 20 of the company, or they're buying the gold edition. It used to be the gold edition would probably include like a season pass. No, sometimes it's just, hey, you get to play the game like a couple days earlier. So no real actual tangible gain other than the release date literally shifted back for people that are paying $20 more. It is just insane how like
it's so many trash practices nowadays and like AAA gaming.
These practices are coming in, and it really feels like for the game we're getting, it's like the price will go up, but the actual content provided in each and every single game, or at least the AAA side, does not reflect what they're actually charging. There's such a great variance. Like, you could play a game that's like maybe 15, 20 hours in like actual gameplay length, and then there will be games with like 100 hours, like actual content provided in them for the same price. I think this is one of the biggest issues when it comes to the games industry. But honestly, a $100 game that's going to come out may actually crash that AAA side. And part of me wishes the game industry will try it. Because I think, and again, like there's other analysts that look at this industry will not survive if every single game is priced that high. First off, it's already bad. Inflation sucks, okay? There's two...
Times are too hard to be doing that, man. Like, times are too hard. People struggling to buy eggs. People struggling to buy gas. People getting laid off left and right. And one of the only hobbies that people have that they can just get a ton of replay value is games, you know? And then if you just jack up the price for that, it's like, what do people really have? I mean, there's other hobbies. Obviously, there's streaming and stuff. But the only reason I say that for Grand Theft Auto is because it's going to have so much replay value.
Inflation is bad, all right? Not in the Sonic community, but in the
I'm about to do some math.
Economic community. We've got people that literally are living more and more paycheck to paycheck as time goes on. Like, if you go to any store right now and you do your groceries, people are probably going to be more interested in getting bread, butter, and eggs and meat in their house.
That's literally what I just said.
If they can, instead of spending that like real grocery level money on an actual video game. And it's going to make people...
So, like, if somebody was to play Grand Theft Auto every day, right, for 365 days, and they paid $100, they're paying 27 cents a day to play Grand Theft Auto. I think many people would be on board with paying 27 cents a day to play Grand Theft Auto.
People buy video games less and less and less. Like, to be honest with you, this is where it's all kind of shifted to. So to be honest, I kind of really welcome if like Activision, Ubisoft, a lot of these companies try it, because to be fair, I don't think they're going to be successful. And I think it might be the only thing like where a crash occurs and these guys actually have to scale back their production and like really audit what they're doing. Because I think it's getting too far. Video game prices have jumped to this like extreme zenith, and there really isn't anything that's trying to kneecap them at the moment. But yeah, this is kind of what I think, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they probably are going to self-sabotage, and there will be some course correction that definitely needs to happen. Indie games over AAA games all day long. Indie games and retro games.
It's fucked up industry for sure. And over the last couple days, I've been seeing like, oh man, what if this game cost $100? I don't think this business is going to survive. But let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
I think Grand Theft Auto is the only game that can get away with that. I don't think Red Dead Redemption can. I don't think Call of Duty can. I don't think Mario can. I don't think Zelda can. I don't think any game can except for maybe Zelda. Maybe. But Grand Theft Auto, I think they're like an anomaly that can get away with something like that. All right, I'm going to put it back on the video that I wanted to watch with you guys from start to finish. All right, let me go ahead and pull that back.
So there was...
All right. I appreciate the three of you tuning in. I know it's late, so thank you.
Angel Knot.
All right, so this video is women rate video games as the least attractive hobby for men.
Is this post that went extremely viral for the past week where women ranked the least attractive hobbies for men. And at the very top of the list, the most unattractive hobby was playing video games. I have no idea if these stats are real. No one could find the actual source of where it came from.
It's trust me, bro.
But Liz Wheeler posted it saying this is 100% true. Men playing video games is peak unattractive, beyond red flag, like deal breaker zone. It's weird that so many dudes don't get this.
It's funny because I met Liz. She's a nice lady. And when I saw this, I was like, man, like I can think of a lot of people you wouldn't like then.
Well, the rest of the list is also interesting. Second, collecting figurines, magic tricks, online trolling, gambling, building model trains,
Online trolling is super fun.
taxidermy, comic book collecting, and bird watching.
So guys, there is some solace to be taken here. You can go out and you can lose your family's rent money or mortgage payment at the craps table as long as you're not at home playing video games.
Gambling is such an addictive and horrible habit to have. I'll never forget when I was growing up, there was this house that was next to us, okay? And the mom would leave her special needs daughter at home by herself to go to the casino. She would lose money, and then she would go back and play again. She literally lost her house gambling it away. Her parents gave her money to get her house back. She took that money back to the casino and lost it all. Over time, that house just became more and more just dilapidated. Am I using the right word? And it literally just started looking like a haunted house. That's how bad the house ended up looking. Gambling is so horrible if you, become addicted to it.
Gambling a hobby?
I feel like the worst thing that can happen with gambling is like you win because you think that you think you lucky or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for a lot of people.
I mean, you could call it that, but I don't know if you should make it part of your identity. I think magic tricks are attractive, and I think online trolling is the most attractive trait. Most attractive hobby for any man is online trolling.
What if you play online poker? Is that gambling or is that video games?
I don't know.
If you playing for money, shoot. If you playing for money, it's gambling. You can play video games for money. It's still gambling.
Listen, I don't know how to answer these questions. This is tough. But you did mention it. So this poll actually did come.
I know he's joking, but I mean, come on now.
From a TikToker who was making jokes. Apparently, this is a community note on X.
Yes. Right.
It says the TikToker was making a joke about them being bird watchers, and the poll was like,
Well, there was a similar one posted by an account on Instagram called Utah Stats, and it said they polled like a few hundred women in Utah to respond to rate how much more romantically interested you would be in an individual upon finding out they participate in the following hobbies. Video games was still at the top as the, I would be much less attracted to this person if they were interested in video games.
Okay, let's.
Man, I thank God my wife don't care about me playing video games. Y'all got those type of issues out there? Y'all having them type of issues with your women? I'm so sorry. I got 99 problems, but games ain't one. You know what I'm saying?
Let's take the phrasing of that really
Yoga
quick.
and sewing and fishing were also on the list.
Okay. What's the phrasing on that? What's the question again one more time?
Rate how much more romantically interested you would be in an individual upon finding out they participate or engage in the following hobbies.
Okay. I'm just going to go on a limb here. I don't think that playing video games for the vast majority of women, when you hear a guy play video games, you're like, all right, let me take off my pants, right?
I feel like games are becoming more and more socially acceptable the day and age that we're living in. I do see women on some of these podcasts who try to dog games and stuff, but I don't know if that's like the overwhelming feeling for like women in real life. Like it's pretty normal to play games now. At least I think so.
I don't think that happens, right?
Sure.
Right, but
for the majority.
But if you were to be like, if a guy was like, "Hey, I lift weights," right? And it wasn't like, you know, some super roided out buff guy, right? To a woman that says, "I take care of my body," right? I take care of my body. I'm gonna treat myself all right. So I would say that probably lifting weights is higher on the attractive list than video games, right? But with that said, it's a dumbass. It's a stupid stat, right? Like how many men?
Well, the joke is always men, when they get into working out, that they do it because they think they're going to get women out of it. But then they end up loving it because it's good for them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea.
The joke is always like what I imagine going to the gym would be like, and it's him like he's bench pressing and women are all over him. Instead, it's him bench pressing and all the dudes are walking. We're like, looking big there, King.
It's a little gay.
Yeah.
Gets a little gay when you get to the extreme end.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing things for like female validation.
No.
You should do things because you love them. That's why you should do things.
You should be doing it.
That's unattractive to women, ironically.
Working out, just like skating for me, is more about the physical activity about it now, right? Skating for me was something I did semi for work when I was younger, but love it and do it now because I need the exercise and I love to go out, and the endorphins that come with it and all that stuff is great. And I've never participated in anything that I do wondering what it's going to mean for women.
I want to hear from both of you. What are the least attractive hobbies for women?
Before we get into that, I would think that video games would be an attractive hobby for women because they know that their man is at home playing a game and not like out cheating on them, right? They're at home being safe. They're not at the club. Like, I don't know. I feel like if your man is at home and he's like playing Madden or something, like you know where he's at, right? Also, I feel like video games get a bad rap just in general because there's this negative stereotype that comes with gamers where they're lazy or they're not ambitious. All they do is sit around and play the game all day. But if people are taking care of their responsibilities, they are providing for their household, they are loving people, they are worshiping God, they are doing these great things in their life, but they also have the hobby of playing video games, I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just when people start getting stuff unbalanced.
Versus most attractive.
Do women have hobbies?
That's been the question this whole week. I guess that's what people have been asking.
I guess yoga would be a hobby, just like for men.
Women's hobbies is scrolling on TikTok and Instagram.
Working out or the gym.
Least attractive though?
Least
no,
attractive.
I'm just
what
trying
are
to
the
think.
least
No, that's
attractive
not
hobbies for women?
That's not an unattractive hobby. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think of like what actual hobbies for women are.
Yeah, food influencer.
And watching MURDER documentaries.
That's the least attractive.
Yeah, probably. He's going with their noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Astrology?
Is that a hobby? I guess it's a hobby.
It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life.
It's a religion.
It's a religion
for some.
No, that's facts. That is a religion. If you're doing astrology, you need to get away from that.
There's a lot of complexity in that. I think it really comes down to the personality of the girl, right? If they're kind of subdued and I don't know, there's a lot of complexity to that. It's one of those, when you see it, but yeah, I think that with women in particular,
I can't really think of too many things that's considered like a female hobby, right? I don't know. What y'all think? Give me some female hobbies in the comments.
Most men will say, this is why guys, I've never used a dating app before, but this is why guys are constantly just doing this. They're just constantly swiping right on every single woman, right? Men are the beggars. Women are the choosers, right? Beggars can't be choosers in this situation.
Gatekeepers to sex.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So, but if woman...
She does not look amused. She's like, this is how guys really think? Like, what the heck?
Or maybe like pole dancing, probably would say no to that.
It's for fitness.
Right.
Why are you wearing the stripper heels then?
Yeah.
Shut up! misogynist prick.
Shopping as well. Yeah, shopping.
I don't think of shopping as a hobby though. You're literally just consuming things. You know?
I mean, that's what you're doing when you go to a movie. You're consuming a product. People would consider going to the movies a hobby.
Maybe if you like discussing movies.
You like discuss shopping.
I don't think that women discuss shopping
Do they?
as much
I
as
have
they
no idea.
shop. They shop more than
Tell
they
me more
discuss
about
shopping.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what confused me because, in a certain sense, I'm not saying women don't have hobbies. Don't get me wrong, but men are more likely to be super into a hobby.
I already said women's hobbies, man. They got 3 hobbies. It's scrolling Instagram, scrolling TikTok. Those like the same thing, and watching documentaries on women who wanted their husband's life insurance.
Hobby because it's how they bond together is that they together do a third thing at the same time.
So I was explaining
but women for women when they bond it's literally just talking.
Yeah.
Like men go fishing and don't say a word and that's how they bond.
What I was explaining
women just
to you,
it doesn't matter where we are, we're just going to talk.
So for us it was like 25 years of skating, which means you
I don't know, man. Me and my homies, we get together and we talk. We catch up.
Go from spot to spot all over the city. You go skate rails, you go skate ledges, and it's like 40 to 50% doing your tricks. Then you're done with yours. Somebody else is still skating, and it's the group like it's the joke is like you just loiter. You loiter at that public location, skate with your friends, and that's where you converse. But we're not going to go sit around in someone's apartment and go do that. We've got a shared activity that we go out and do together.
Yeah, women I don't think would relate to that nearly as much.
Which brings it back to playing games with your boys.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're doing something, it's a hobby. That's why it's a hobby, because it's it's fun, number one, and then you get to hang out with your boys and
it's dope just because like the day and age that we're living in and technology, and as you get older, you don't really get to see your friends face to face, right? But you can get online and you can play a game with them and you can talk to them through the chat.
And as we saw in the video earlier, you get to talk all sorts of shit.
We got a 20 from Pat the Plumber. Who has time for hobbies when there's a femicide going on in the Congo?
What are we supposed to do?
How dare you have a hobby? What was the next one?
From, I can't read
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Hey, Craig, I'm currently working on a story that stars a middle-aged woman named...
All right, seems like they're getting a little off topic. All right, cool. So that's kind of my views with that whole matter. I don't think that games are as big of a deal to people as people make it seem. Like in real life, like the internet's not really real life,
It's on social media.
All right. So, but that's all I got for y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I am on my journey to 1,000 subscribers. Right now, I'm almost at 300. You feel me? So if you could please subscribe, that would be amazing. All right, but I appreciate you guys, and God bless, and salutations to the nations. Peace.
Angel Knot.